Hail, hail, and welcome to the HomeBhoys Late Podcast. It is Thursday, the 10th of July. I'm, of course, Joe McKenna. We are back. It is preseason time. We are smack bang in the middle of the Festival of Intolerance, if you're up the north. So hope you're enjoying yourselves. But the weather's good. The weather's fantastic. I'm joined by two good lads. Jason Higgins out there on Wishaw. Is the sun shining?
The sun is shining, mate. It's beautiful.
It is fucking stunning here, so it is today. I mean, having to go to work should be a crime on a day like this.
We're just starting to get it good today, and then it's going to be absolutely scorching for the next 4 or 5 days, I think. But it's a wee bit cloudy this morning, but it's glorious now.
I think there's something about fucking us on this side of the world, this part of the world, and vitamin D. When we get it, it just suddenly zaps us into fucking some sort of level of happiness that we're not used to.
Especially in July. When do you ever in July get good weather? It's always passion.
There's always some fuckery about it, Nick, but I mean, maybe it's global warming, maybe it's luck. I don't know. It's a nice day. And of course, the day gets even brighter when a man like Longshanks enters the chat. What's happening, Liam?
How are you, Joseph? You good?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm assuming the Royal Borough is the sun is shining down on the new Rangers pub.
It is, mate. Streaming live from 1690 here today. Very good.
Do you want to
technology?
Can we tell folks about that? I mean, it was online. What's the pub called?
Walter's Bar. Walter's Bar, is it?
The clientele reminded me of the Hacienda late 80s.
Right. The ones that stayed around too long.
It's not good, mate. It's twinned with the Vogue by the look of it. It's across the road from the Vogue, so.
Well, that'll be fine.
There'll be no problems there at all.
Oh, for the love of God!
I think I said to you, I was walking a few weeks ago, and I went for a pint in the local Wetherspoons across the road, and very interesting clientele in there, mate. So there's no chance they're going to be giving up their £2 pints to go across to Walter's Bar once the league's over by Halloween.
We should keep tabs on how well it's doing, Liam. You should go past it every couple of days and just go, there's much happening there. Yeah.
Could be done, mate. Could be done. I predict a short tenure for that pub.
That's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, there should be a watch, a business watch, just for the community.
Scott can do it when he's getting on his bus.
Somebody posted their menu. You wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Jesus. The names and stuff. Then there was a competition to name some new meals they could serve.
Do you know what? There was one that made sense. It was gammon, and it was gammon on. I was like, yeah, you know what? It was named after Ali McCoist. I was like, yeah, that's bang on that one.
And what about the boy that came from Ayr and he stayed over for 2 nights in Budapest?
I mean, if you're going to travel the world, Liam, pick your spots.
Well, do you know what? It just showed. I mean, right, that's their, apart from the fucking whatever the other one's called, I forget now, but that's their new attraction, right? There's more Celtic pubs on the same road in Rutherglen than there is fucking in the whole of Glasgow for them. So it's they haven't got much to look forward to, have they, or to enjoy? So leave them to it.
That's the spirit, though. The spirit is defiance. We may be shite, we may lose, but here we have this pub, and you have to look at us. You're like, all right, fair enough.
I'm never on the huddle board there, but I looked on it there and it says, a boy came out with a cracker. He says, who's the idiot that decided to build a hospital electrical substation beside a bonfire?
Did any of you listen to the Free State podcast, the new one today with Joe Braley?
No, not yet. I'll do it tomorrow.
That was a brilliant part. And he said the irony here. He said, if anybody hasn't seen this, is Moygashel. They have this boat on top of the bonfire full of. I showed up the funeral last night going, can you believe this shit? Full of brown mannequins that they've obviously stolen, who are wearing orange fucking life vests, and they're obviously going to torch this thing. It's an anti-immigrant fucking statement, whatever the fuck they're saying it is. But Joe Bradley made a really good point. He said the irony of this is amazing. He said because they're going to burn that, right? And as immigrants who came on a boat, set up their own kind of migrant communities. He said, and then they're going to celebrate King Billy, who came on a boat with the entire intention of setting up a migrant community.
Aye.
A bunch of planters as well.
I seen somebody put a post up as well with 3 Native Americans sitting on their horses and all that, saying, we don't really want to do this, but we're going to have to get rid of these fucking immigrants. Aye. Okay. The whole world is just turned on its head, and it's just what a fucking horrible place it is nowadays, man.
But I was having a conversation recently with somebody about this, Jason, right? And like everybody else, you kind of fall into a bit of despair. I mean, you look at the fucking internet and you go, oh my God. But then again, the internet isn't your life experience at the end of the day as well. So there's that side of it too, right? I need to keep reminding people about this when they bring up, like, you see a video online of fucking immigrants. I go, like, what's your experience? And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, what is your actual lived experience of immigrants? Oh, my next door neighbor's from Nigeria. Fucking boy, there's a mosque going to court in the house. I'm like, and have you ever had a problem? And they're like, no. They're like, well, then there you go. What the fuck are you listening to fucking YouTube and TikTok for, you stupid cunt? You know what I mean? But people are getting sucked into this bullshit, right? And it's lonely people. It's people who fucking maybe fucking, you know, haven't got a lot of critical thinking skills. And it's going to be a case of the good cunts are going to have to spread the good cunt vibes, and that's really all you can do at this stage. You know what I mean? The problem is you're outpaced by the fucking spread of fucking information. I mean, of false information. I've seen it firsthand from like where I'm living. There was a video put up being used from a social media account in this town that is being used by far right fucking fucking Twitter accounts or X accounts or whatever the fuck to spread and make it look like there's abductions going on all around the town I live in, and there's not. I mean, but this is what they do, and I suppose people like us need to stay the course.
It's depressing, mate. I mean, imagine wake up in the morning thinking this is a really cool idea. This is what we're going to invest our time and effort in for the next few days, and if the police get involved, we're gonna have a fucking riot over it. Honestly, man, what fucking people do we have to share the oxygen with still, man?
But these are joyless people at the end of the day, Liam. I think they're joyless people. I think that if you get any kind of gratification out of doing shit like that, there's a poison deep within you that is, you know, fucking probably never going to be expunged. You know,
it's mental, mate. It's. I mean, how does someone sit and explain that culture to someone that doesn't know anything about it?
It's a microcosm of imperialism at the end of the day. Someone must be beneath the heel. Someone, doesn't matter who it is, someone must be beneath the heel. That's it. That's all it is. That is the culture. Anyway, we're going to fucking rabbit hole here. Jason's got a list of transfers. Marty Flynn's going to be on soon. He's going to be joining us. He is currently exfoliating in his brass tub while his wife plans seating for a garden party and a choice of canapes, because that's how you live in middle class Lisbon. But he'll be on soon with his fluffy slippers on and his sound issues. Fear not. But I suppose throughout the summer, I mean, we all kind of switched off, I'd say, for a couple of weeks, because you do that. I suppose at the end of the season, you go like, "I'm gonna switch off, I'm gonna fucking ignore things." But then that craving comes back. It's like trying to kick a drug. You're like, you're back. You're paying attention to transfers. You're looking at this. You're fucking watching rumors. And I suppose we're at the kind of stage now, all of us going through this each summer, that we kind of know, like, Celtic did the business on the QT, and next thing it's there's guys being signed, but my knowledge of who they've signed and what they are is limited because I've kind of not been completely clued in, because I've been fucking up my neck at work and I'm trying to square things away before going on holiday. But Jason Higgins has got an in-depth report on every single player we've seen.
I wouldn't go too far, but interesting reading, kind of. So basically, expenditure and income, right? We've received 2.57 million euros in, and we've spent 1.5 million euros in transfers so far. So we've got a net profit of 1.07 million euros. We've got Benjamin Nygren, Swedish lads, come in from North Shetland, 1.5 million, and that's our limit that we've spent. Kieran Tierney's obviously come in for Arsenal, free transfer. Ross Doon for Aberdeen, free transfer. Callum Osmond has come in from Fulham, under 21s, free transfer. So Nygren's 23, Tierney's 28, Ross Doon's 27, and Osmond's 19. And then we've got Hayato Inamura, has came from the J League. Don't know what the transfer fee was there or whatever. There's nothing. And then
I think we paid 250,000 for him, Jason. I think I read that. Few places, yeah, around about that.
Okay. So he's 23, but he's not had much games, national service or whatever. I don't know what it was. Was it college or whatever? But I don't think he's played much football, but seems to be all right. He looked all right in the friendly. But Lager Bielka come back on loan, but then we've probably sold him. Luis Palma, he's back from loan at Olympiacos. Odin Thiago Holmes still on loan. His loan finishes on the 31st of December. And Marco Tilio, his loan ended at Melbourne City, so he's back. So out, Gustav Lager Bielka on a permanent move to SK Braga, 2.57 million. Greg Taylor left, free transfer to PAOK in Greece. Scott Bain left, free transfer to Falkirk. Mike Navroke has left on another loan. I don't know if it's a loan with an agreement to buy, but he's away to Hanover in the Bundesliga 2. And Jeffrey Schlupp's loan finished. So he's not got a club. I don't know, in fact, is he way back to Crystal Palace? I don't know if his contract.
His contract was done, right?
He's out of contract, so he's looking for a club, I would say. So that's basically where we are at the minute. Some rumours about Japanese forward coming in. Not entirely sure. I don't really know about any kind of rumours sort of thing. So I don't really buy into
it. And we lost Greg Taylor, who went off to start a Greek separatist movement, according to the video that they put up on.
Yeah, I was waiting. I'm saying I'm Brian at the end of it. I'm William Wallace.
That's maybe the most dramatic fucking, for a guy of his ability, I love Greg Taylor. I mean, come on the fuck here.
I think he would have loved that, because see all the Celtic Christmas videos and that, he was always right in the middle of it, and he seemed as if he'd have been brilliant in the dressing room. He always seemed right up for a laugh, and he was. Do you know that? I think we had a pod after the cup final. I can kind of remember saying this, but that was a big disappointment for me at the end of the season, was us losing the cup, but the fact that Greg Taylor didn't get a chance to say a proper farewell to fans, because the poor lad walked round and clapped everybody of the 10,000 or whatever that was still in the stadium trying to get up the stairs after we'd lost the cup. And it just kind of petered out to be a bit meh, because I would have liked him to stay. And I'm not led to believe Celtic didn't offer him a deal, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe the information to tell the lad John that sits next to us was correct. So
that seems to be the general consensus. Isn't it like that basically he was just kind of left swinging in the wind and it's like, right, well, fuck this now?
Aye, and I think that's the way fucking teams operate. They just kind of blank you.
See, I find that really, really horrible, right? Because here's the thing: I learned that early on in the music industry. See if you're not worth anything, your phone stops ringing. You know what I mean? See if you're not a fucking commodity, your fucking phone stops ringing, and that's it. Nobody comes to you and says, like, by the way, it's over. You know what I mean? And I find that really fucking bizarre, because surely the level of decency you should, fucking extend to someone like fucking Greg Taylor after these years is like, listen, mate, just so you know, you may as well start looking.
Aye.
Or maybe that did happen. I don't know, but it just seems weird that they would just go like, nah, you know what? Nah, we don't know, mate.
I'm sure, Joe. To be honest, I'm sure there's more to it behind the scenes, right? Than we give credit for. I know, Jason. Obviously, your man said he's not been offered a deal. I don't think he's never been offered a deal at all. I'll be not sure, but I would imagine he's been offered a contract renewal at some point in time in the last 6 or 9 months that I'm sure he's declined, maybe an opening offer or an opening couple of offers. But I think then at a point in time, Joe, he's turned down whatever offer Celtic's had, and they've just not gone back in with a better one. And there'll be some conversations between the club and the agent.
What makes you say that? What makes you say that? Because he said he's never been offered the deal.
Well, the manager said he had been offered one, and he turned it down. But that was back near Christmas, January time. But he's an asset to us, and he's done well for us. So why do you think the club would never have offered him one?
Well,
even a first opening gambit.
Well, I think he's the level of asset he would have been to the club as per like sell-on value would have been null and void, basically, because he's 27. Say he signed a 3 or 4 year deal. He's going to be 31. He's never played outside Scotland, and he's hopefully going to get limited game time with Kieran Tierney there. So it's like money pissed away. The club would be looking at it because he wouldn't have been signing on for the cheap, right? So he'd have been wanting roughly 20 grand a week, I would say. And I don't think the club would have entertained that, having 2 left backs, getting a cumulative 50 plus grand a week.
Yeah, I agree with that. I made that exact point before, in terms of why we hadn't signed him up. I'd be amazed if they haven't even gone a bit bold and just gone, right, we'll renew you at the current, your current salary sort of thing. You're Scottish-based player, counts towards the squad numbers for Europe. You've proven over a period of time. So there's plenty of things to at least justify giving the same deal.
Aye, but the club giving him the same deal, that wouldn't have been acceptable to him. Because he's at the height now, his football. Aye, but at the height of his football career, he would have went there, got a hefty signing on fee, you would imagine, plus a decent wage. I mean, they've got him buck shee, so you'd like to think they would have gave him minimum probably £500,000 in his tail, and then
you've got to think it was a wage and a half. You've got to think it was up there, like.
Do you know what I mean? They're getting a quality player, an international. That's.
And he gives his family a great life experience. They're going to another country. It's fucking nice and sunny, and the food's good.
So
I understand why he's gone. I totally get why he's gone. I'd be amazed. I mean, it'd be appalling business practice if nothing else. If you just even look at it from that angle, never mind from the personal level. But I'd be amazed if Celtic's never made him one counter offer of here's an extension to your deal.
Here's the thing that I thought though, right? Whenever all this was going on,
I'm pretty sure Celtic haven't.
But see with the talk of him going to fucking Greece and that, it was Greece, wasn't it? That's Cyprus. It is Greece, and fucking. I was thinking to myself, like, in terms of wages, the margins must be pretty fine in terms of like the difference. No,
that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't think money there.
I wouldn't. They would be on like a par with Celtic wages. You would think. I mean, probably. Like, if you look at their wage, he'll be one of the highest paid at the club. I would think they would. I'd say, like, squad wages, Celtic to theirs, we would probably dwarf theirs. I would think. But
I suppose if you're him and say you're handed a fucking big wage of cash, the same for the club, and then you're getting the wage that you asked for at the club you've just left, that they wouldn't agree to for talk's sake. Yeah, you are going to do that, like, because on the balance of financial fucking leverage, you're going to say, well, I stand to make more doing this than I do doing this, and
without a doubt. I mean, if what Liam's sort of angling at, Celtic offered them the same wages he's on now compared to what he's getting there, there'd have been no decision to make. You're 100% leaving.
But you'd hate to fucking think the margin was 500 grand in his fucking back pocket. You know what I mean? Or something like that there. Something completely trivial like that there. You'd hate to think it was that close and the club didn't fucking match it. And again, we're talking hypotheticals here, but at the end of the day, it always seemed to me like it wouldn't have been a massive ask to keep him.
But I just think the fact that Kieran Tierney coming, Celtic will be looking for a Tony Ralston type player, somebody that's maybe coming through the youths or whatever, or a young player, a project or whatever, that's happy to be on a minimum type wage, but play when required, rather than having somebody on a hefty wage that's sitting there playing second fiddle if Tierney's fit.
Well, that makes more sense when you kind of frame it like that.
It's the way pundits and that are talking about Greg Taylor would have been wanting first team football and all that. I think that's bullshit. I think he would have been happy to sign on with Celtic again if they gave him a decent wage. And I'm not saying what he was on the now wasn't a decent wage, but everything's relative, and it's to do with what he could get somewhere else. And I don't think Celtic would have matched that at all. He'll be going there and he'll be first string, he'll be playing every week, he would reckon if he's fit. He's fit all the time anyway. He's not got any injury sort of history.
No. You know what? Good luck to the lad, because apparently if you're a Scottish football player and you go abroad at the minute, it's nothing but fucking golden fields.
Aye, good luck to him. And I would have done the same if I was in his shoes. So Good luck to him. I just think, I said right for the start, Celtic will lowball him, and I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if they have balled him at all, but if they have, it's definitely been low on the lower scale.
Are
Never going to work.
Are any of us actually expecting or waiting for Celtic to kind of stretch the financial muscle? I personally am not. I'm not. I have no expectation whatsoever.
They'll wait to get the Kun money in, and then they'll spend that. And
Yeah.
they'll say, look at this signing we got. See, at the end of the day, but you pay 9 or 10 million for somebody, or you pay 5 or 6 million. Like, the stats in the past shows what we got with Maeda, Kyogo, Hatate. It's not for big money, and they're talking this Japanese forward coming in. We've already got Anamura in. So at the end of the day, I'm not really caring the value of the transfer fee. And the thing is, we have got it right more often than not of recent times. So I'm not too worried. And I think we've got a decent scouting network that we have produced gems. I mean, the lad for Fulham could end up being a cracker. We've had good results for there. Dumbelli, etc. So, aye.
But Jason, why do you think we are waiting for Kuhn to be sold? I mean, why? We're not short of money, and I'm not saying that I disagree with you because I think you're right. But we had money in the bank for the last couple of seasons, Champions League last year, turned a profit in last year's transfers again.
Well, they bumped up the season tickets for everybody. We're sitting with more money in the bank we've ever had in our history. And they're still fleecing the fans left, right, and centre, taking off friendly for your season ticket. And
that's kind of where I wanted to go, just to go, all this fucking money sitting there, and you're saying, the Kuhn money comes in, we can spend that. And going, this isn't fucking swap shop.
Aye, but that's what they'll be thinking. Me personally, I think that's what they'll be thinking on. And obviously, you don't know who else we're going to lose. So at the end of the day, say they did go out and buy 2 players for 10 million each, and then say you buy a winger and you buy a centre half, right? And then say Carter Vickers goes and Maeda goes, you're a bit fucked. Well, the centre half, you'd have had to buy one for 10 million, but do you know what I mean? Say say Alistair Johnson leaves. Say a big bid comes in or whatever, and they've already squandered the cash on other positions. So I don't know. It's maybe a bit of cat and mouse at the minute.
Well, there's a long way to go. There's a long way. There's a long road ahead. We're going to be bombarded with bullshit between now and 31st of August, is it? Or is the Scottish windows later, is it?
No, I think it's roughly the same time.
Yeah, whatever it is. That week we've got a Champions League second leg qualifier, then we've got the Huns, and then we've got the end of the transfer window. So,
and see for
camera off, Mark. I want the camera off. Marty, sir.
See the Celtics' point of view as well. They're probably waiting to see what happens with the Champions League, whether they qualify or not. Because I think that would have a bearing on the type of budget you'd be spending.
We're joined by Boris Gardner.
I want to make love to you.
What's happening, Marty? All right?
Evening all, just in from the garden.
The man that's the expert in seaweed.
Fuck me, sargassum city.
Sargassum.
Fucking
we were getting lessons for David Bellamy fucking the last couple of weeks.
Speaking of seaweed, Marty, where can you get decent dulse?
Fuck, I'll get the decent dulse tomorrow. Anywhere down the coast.
You can't get dulse around here.
Oh, it's more north anywhere. Cushendall, Waterfoot, places like that. You'll get dulse.
You still get dulse in the fucking Springfield Road and the fucking in
you can get in the fruit shops if it's anywhere like that.
Are they uneducated? You want to explain it as what that is, Joe?
Dulse is dried seaweed. It's a delicacy here. So all down the Glens of Antrim, they cultivate it and they sell it to Japan. It's a fucking massive, absolutely massive industry. It's almost like a substitute for bacon. Like a healthy substitute.
Salty as all fuck.
It's full of salt.
Great with a pint.
It wouldn't be my fucking cup of tea.
When it's dried, is it like a wee snack thing when you're?
It's like it's
a
like
bad wee
dried
bag.
seaweed leaves in a wee bag. It's like a wee fucking. It looks like a large bag of weed, only it's seaweed inside it. You know what I mean? And then you just pick parts of it off and eat it. It's dead salty, and you can have it in a fucking pint. I grew up
So
fucking
you're
eating it like.
driving down the coast, you'll see the Antrim Coast Road's fucking beautiful. If you've never driven down it, it's one of those bucket list things. Do it before you die. It's
Oh, have
one of
I?
those-
It's gorgeous.
So you know yourself. So when you're driving down the road, you'll see like the road. It's a military road. It was built to bring the Brits into the fucking Glens after the 1788 rebellion. So it's right on the sea, and so you'll see the slopes down off the road are stone. Like flood defences, and you'll just see all the seaweed lying out drying with the farmers down there will farm it, you know. But there's a couple of different cafes and restaurants in around Cushendall and stuff. They use it for cooking. They'll cook you something if you ask them. But it's, as I say, their biggest market's Japan. They make a fucking fortune selling it over to Japan.
Aye, very good. I'd never even heard of that. I mean, I knew folk eat seaweed, but
So
I never knew.
there's two things. There's a couple of things. It came from, and during the famine, that's how people down there survived. You know, they survived off the dulse, and the Lammas Fair is on in September, and end of August in Ballycastle, and that's the famous line in the song. You can treat your Mary Ann to some dulles and yellow man at the old Lammas Fair in Ballycastle, though, and yellow man's like honeycomb, like a real tough honeycomb. Breaks your fucking teeth, great. And also to what we call Welks, no,
Oh, I love them, aye.
so that would have been what saved people down there during the famine. There's no fucking potatoes. They'd have been eating the willicks and the dulse out of the sea.
I used to love good. I used to love going down to our glass and getting all the fucking fresh crab and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? I loved all that shit.
I'm not into seafood at all, but here, if you're into it, that's a fucking place to be. You know what I mean? Down by the coast.
I love it. See, like you go up to Oban, man. Oban's fucking unbelievable.
Would you love dulles? I bet if you get a bit of dulles,
you would love dulles.
Aye.
See a wee bag of dollars and a pint of Guinness. It's fucking, and a book. You're fucking. It's good living.
I could eat about 1,000 of them. Just sit there with a pin and just fucking do away at them. Oh, fucking all day. See on shelf. I just love it.
We would have collected them all when we were kids, and then I remember going up one day, fucking. I had a big fucking bucket of willicks, and my Uncle Harry says, "Whereabouts did you pick them from?" And I says, "Fucking down round fucking wherever it was." Told him, they hit me a big fucking slap in the head. He says, "There's a fucking sewage outlet there. Go and put them back." I had to fucking trundle the whole way fucking down, put them back into the fucking sea.
we used to get mussels and whelks down in Southern Ness, the Solway Firth, but that's no far up the coast for Sellafield.
Oh, fuck!
Probably wasn't the fucking best.
Fucking 10 kilo whelk.
I'm down there. I'll be down the Glens tomorrow, so I'll get my hands on some stuff. I'll grab you some stuff. Send it over to you.
Because the ironic thing was we drove the Antrim Coast Road. We were going to Donegal and we had plenty of time, and we'd get the early ferry. It was years ago. So we headed round the Antrim Coast Road. We got into Ballycastle, and see at the time, Linda loved Bailey's, but it was Aldi's or something had like a substitute of Bailey's called Ballycastle. And we pulled into Ballycastle, couldn't fucking find a bottle anywhere.
Fucking sure, you wouldn't get that there. Not a chance. But that's beautiful. Like, it's a lovely part of the world. Like, really class. So we're very lucky. We have a caravan down there, so we live down our whole lives. So I don't know how the fuck we got on the fuck on this subject.
Well,
here we are.
that is the culinary and cultural part of the show.
Yes. Right? The fucking tourism board as well.
We've gone from burning migrants on a fucking bonfire at the start of the show to now eating willicks from Sellafield. That's kind of podcast you're involved with, folks. That's what you're in for.
Just the way it is. Some things will never change.
Before we were just going through transfers there, so we're a minute ago, and we were doing the what did Greg Taylor make and what did he
I heard you had you on fucking Twitch or whatever the fuck Twitch is. I was listening.
Playing fucking blind darts with fucking Greg Taylor's life. And I don't know, I suppose, are we all kind of sitting in the pocket going like something big's coming, but there'll be a flurry?
Well, here's the thing, right? Whatever your opinions are of the players who've come in so far, the fact is they're in. Whereas this time last year, nobody had come in. We didn't sign Sinisalo, I think, until the last week in July. He was the first guy in, wasn't he? So at least this year there's a bit of fucking movement, positive movement. I mean, we had Tierney in, which is sort of tick that one off. But the striker from Fulham, you know, this guy from fucking the left back from Japan, who looked all right, I have to say. It didn't look like there was much wrong with me or night when he was fucking playing in Cork. He looked very
And he's a
capable on the
centre
ball,
back
good
as well,
passing.
but they played him at left back. So that
He's a big
could
string bean.
be.
He's like it doesn't look like there's much to him. He's like fucking army at Jared Reynolds, for fuck's sake. Me and Joe
Big
Gill.
stretch. Big
That's
stretch.
exactly. That's what he looks like. These days, his fucking legs. So I don't know what he's physically like, but his passing and all looked very good. Like he was bombing up and putting balls into the box, low balls, to people's feet, stuff. You're going very promising.
So
looking.
that could be your understudy for Tierney sorted.
I think it
You
is,
know?
to be honest. Well, judging by Rodgers' comments, he didn't seem too fucking fussed the other day, but when he got a look at him, he seems to have been,
Aye.
suitably impressed.
Because I don't think he's played much football at all, Marty. I don't know. Did he do national service or was it?
Well, I don't know, but he was playing last week because the fucking team he was playing for got beat 4-0.
It's the college thing, same as a Tati. He didn't really start
thing.
playing until 22 or 23. And just go through the college system until that sort of age. I think it's fairly common there.
I don't think they do military service, Liam, isn't it? Korea do military service?
The college thing,
I think.
Yeah.
The Japanese get away with it. So, like in general, like we're gonna all. I don't think any of us really have any opinions about anybody who's come in so far because we haven't seen them. But at least there is movement, and like money ways, I think we've spent 2.5 million fucking quid, which is, we'll have covered that.
Actually, we're at a 1.07 million euro profit at the minute because we sold Lager Bielka.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Whatever we've fucking spent, Lager Bielka's covered. Just him.
Aye.
For fuck's sake, do you know what I mean? So it shouldn't be any issues. Money should not be an issue here this year.
But that's what we were saying. So there's a few things we spoke about there about why we're not spending it now. And you think there's a few things, right? We don't know who we're going to lose if anyone else leaves, because that's always a danger. So I don't think any is a surprise that Kuhn's away because his face was tripping him at the end of last season. And at the end of the day, you can't really grumble for the business Celtic's done there. But it's if anyone else leaves. Mick was saying to me the other day he'd heard a rumour that Carter Vickers was maybe going. I hadn't heard anything. Had you?
It's on the huddle board as well. So, yeah.
Here's the thing about Here's the thing about Carter Vickers, right? While you would hate to lose him, he's another one who you're just never able to rely upon. Do you know what I mean? He missed 2 Champions League runs, didn't he? He was injured over those fucking twice. So again, if players are going to be moneyed up, if a team's going to come in and offer a big fucking wage for Carter Vickers, Celtic are selling Carter Vickers, and that'll be the reason why. Do you know? They'll cash in on him.
Yeah, you got 4 years out of him, right? You know what I mean? You got 4 years. I'd be gutted to lose him, but getting 4 years out of any player in this day and age is pretty good, especially someone.
But I would be devastated to lose him, to be honest with you.
Oh, here, 100%. He's been a fucking.
He's
been a revelation, really.
And I totally agree with his injury record, right? But he is, by a country mile, he's by a country mile one of our best players, never mind one of our best defenders. He kind of holds that team together.
I don't disagree at all, like, not at all. But just with this whole fucking player, fucking trading model balls, if we get any sort of a decent, it's hard to think we haven't had any offers for him. You would have thought that, like, decent centre backs are hard to come by. He didn't have a particularly good pedigree when he turned up, but he's had a brilliant run with us. Nobody will be moaning about his football abilities, certainly, but
I think his height, Marty, and the fact he's had them injuries fairly regularly is probably why he's still with us. Probably what keeps him there.
Possibly, but I mean, like, he reminds me of Paul McGrath.
Yeah.
When Paul McGrath was there, you don't have to be the most physical player as long as you have a good fucking head on you and you know where the ball's going to go before it goes there. Do you know, it's that type of player that he is. A smart guy, and like it's almost if you think about it this way, it's almost like an economy of movement. Everything he does right.
Love to you, the family, and mucho respecto.
What the fuck's that?
Chat to you later.
You ordering PJ a taxi, or Joe?
He texted me.
I heard you. For fuck's sake, I heard it.
That's how PJ never texts you. PJ sends you voice messages.
Voice messages, aye. It does, aye.
Dear Marty, cacha will too. So look, if Carter Vickers, as I say, if there's any sort of an offer comes in for him, he'll be away to fuck, and hopefully he doesn't.
I don't think so, Marty. I genuinely don't. And I get if it's life-changing money that's going to come in for him, right? I don't think that will happen. So hence, I don't think he'll be off at the first offer that comes in. I reckon he's pretty happy here in Champions League football, etc. But you never know. But I don't think it's as simple if he doesn't give the impression that he's angling for a move, does he?
No, not at all. That's not. I mean, that isn't even the argument. I'm just saying that, given his record and the massive games that he's missed over the last couple of years, the Celtic board will say fucking sell him. Without a doubt, like. And I wouldn't want him to go. That's my point. Like, he is definitely still, as you say, one of the best players on the whole squad.
Can you honestly see us getting a bid of like 15 million in for him?
No, but they would take less than that. See if it was like 5 to 10, he'd be away. Because we only paid 6 for him, and that's a win.
I can't see that at all, man. I think it would take 15 million plus.
I do as well.
I don't. I think look, we've been shocked by some of the valuations previously of players that we thought would go for fucking mega bucks and didn't. I think they would go with double the money on them, 12 million.
We just so keen for a fucking.
I know, but look at the other ones before, like Giakoumakis and fucking and Abada and all these other players that we all thought were going to go.
That all depends on who you're selling to, doesn't it really?
Well, no, it depends on who wants to buy or if the player wants to go. And there's been no indications from Carter Vickers that he wants to go. I haven't heard any of that type of stuff. Like,
no,
he's not that type of player. He's a quiet fella. Like, you don't really hear much about him at all.
Right.
You know,
I definitely want to keep him. He's it's imperative that we keep him.
Yeah, I think Jason, one of the biggest challenges we've got this summer is, we paid $6 million for a guy last year that's lost his place during the season back to Liam Scales again. We've never really probably matched Carl Stolfelt since you sold him. You can't be getting rid of your best defender. We're more worried about trying to get someone to play alongside him.
Exactly.
About letting him go. You're serious about Europe.
And the old Mike Navroki one's a strange one again, isn't it? Obviously Rodgers sees a lot more than us, but it didn't get a chance, and every time he played, he looked good. And it's just weird. I reckon my analogy of him farting in the peace box was right. He must be doing something. He must have been up to something. He must have fucking something there.
But so we're also linked with this other fucking Japanese guy who's only scored twice in a year or something, from what I was reading. Shibata, something like that.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem to have fucking set the head on fire either, wherever the fuck he is. So again, we're sitting on dozens of millions of pounds. So why are we looking at players like that? Does that is there a reward shot being fired about Rodgers here, saying we're not getting any money?
Well, that's the thing, that isn't it? I think you can separate, right? You can separate these 5 players we've signed from everything else, because they're no-brainers, aren't they? We spent $1.5 million. We've got an elite level player back at the club that we'd never have unless he was who he is. We've got Negron, who looks like we've well underpaid for him, and looks like he's going to be a good high level first team player based on what we've seen and read. Still to be proven. And then you've got a couple of squad fillers and prospects, in the background to that. You're always going to, Celtic's always going to kind of invest in those sort of players today. It just goes without saying. The signings they've made so far, it's what's to come that's going to impact the first team.
And that's the thing too, because we have a squad full of squad fillers, and it racks my fucking head the amount of money that we waste on guys like that. And what we should be doing is what they said they were going to do, and that's create a pathway for the youth players, and they're your squad fillers. So your likes of Dane Murray, your Ben Summers, who also looked pretty good the other day, and Mitchell Frames, they're your squad fillers, and then that keeps your fucking wage bill down anyway, because they're all your homegrown players to help you out in Europe. You're giving them experience. They've got a sell on value if they make it, because they're coming from fuck all. So you have no outlay on them. Instead of bringing in these fucking, some of them frankly are fucking bums from all around the world who just suck wages out for no reason. You never fucking see them. They spend more time out on loan, and you're like, what the fuck?
The ones who get in the new market, to be fair, right? Your Callum Osmond for Fulham, that's like a no-brainer. That's
I agree.
Gamble, right?
Totally.
Inamura looks all right. So we've only brought 5 players in. I reckon that Benjamin Nygren will be in the first team.
No, that's actually the point I started with. What I was saying was it's good to see this level of activity this early in the
Aye.
season, but what we want to see is quality coming and building on the. And I
Well,
always say it,
definitely.
you want the player to come in to put another player on the fucking bench. That's the point,
Yeah.
and this is the first time in our history we have the tools to do it. We're sitting on multi megabucks, certainly in relation to anything we've ever had in the past. So a couple of two or three really, really star players shouldn't really be a problem, and yet then because this is what happens is you just buy all these players and they just sit and you're just wasting the money. You're wasting your opportunity. So say to your youth players, see all them kids that went down south, they're all now fucking bumming about in the second and third fucking tier of the fucking English things, and they're maybe in the reserves of their teams. But if you stay here, there's a fair chance you're going to play in the Champions League this year. Look what happened in January. Look at the players who were short best days in the season. There's a chance you're going to get Champions League football.
Mark,
Do you know what I
just
mean?
say on that point, we have to give Joe we have to put some respect on Joe's name here. Calling out Japanese internationals playing for Birmingham in the Championship. Well done, Joseph.
There you go. And
Nailed
I
it. Nailed it.
I like how you've widened the search to Japanese internationals. And it was Hatate we were talking about. The other day we had Japanese international. It was Rio Hatate we were talking about. It was a specific football
Listen,
player.
don't burst his bubble, man. Come on.
That's his job on the show. Here, can I go back a second, mate? See that Fulham thing with the Callum Osman thing? See that Fulham the Celtic route? Has it ever failed us? I don't think it's failed us once, is it? We had Dembele and O'Reilly, was it? Or
Well, O'Reilly came for MK Dons, but I think he was with Fulham.
Yeah.
Was he actually on loan the MK Dons with Fulham?
Yeah,
Frimpong
he did,
come
yeah.
from them as well.
Yeah. Did Frimpong come from Fulham as well?
So he might have
I
done.
don't remember. But see that route of fucking kind of. I mean, it's not poaching, but it kind of is poaching. I mean,
well, we're doing the exact opposite of what English clubs do to us.
And also for less money. I mean, at the end of the day.
There's that kind of rule, that cross-border rule, that you can poach them and you only pay like a nominal fee.
Yeah,
so,
I did say that when Rodgers when he came back for the second time. After that terrible transfer window we had, I'm surprised he doesn't know of a lot of players like that in that age bracket down in England. There must be loads of good players like that.
I know.
Potentially good players.
And the thing is, you can offer them good wages, and give them the pathway to get back to England, if they can come up here and be a success. It's a good loophole for us. It's no so much a good loophole for your Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeens, etc. that aren't going to be able to pay them top dollar when it's a bit of a gamble. But we can.
You see that Neil Lennon interview on Open Goal, which is really, really good.
Really good, yeah.
Really good listen. But that's what he said. He said Frimpong was up playing in an academy game. And he just went to watch it, and he said the guy stood out an absolute country mile. And then got him in. And my pal who was the Birmingham assistant manager, was at Leicester years ago, and he brought up a under-23 team to play against Rangers, closed door game, and that's when Bassi was playing for them, for Leicester. And then they went and signed him and got 20-odd million for him. There must be like loads of players with that physicality down there. You know what it's like in England. They're all fucking athletes now down there.
I know. It's interesting, but the Benjamin Nygren one, I'm quite excited about that. I know it's only YouTube videos, but he looks a player. I think he'll slot into the Kuhn role. Because to me, it looked as if he was all left-footed, but he kind of came in for the right. He was maybe a number 10, but I don't know. I think he could fit into that Kuhn role.
As long as the cunt sends an autograph, I don't give a fuck. As long as he sends an autograph, miserable bastard.
All about Joe again. It's all about fucking Joe.
It's all about the kids, Jason. I believe the children.
So here's the kind of elephant in the room, right? Brendan Rodgers. Yeah. Because I think this merits a proper conversation, because I'm worried now, because at the end of the day, he's going to do what he said he would do and do the 3 year. I've no doubt about that. I don't think they'll touch wood. I don't think he's going to leave the now, right? But if he does the 3 years and he leaves, he goes with blessings because that's all he was contracted to do, right? I think we would all love him, or 99% of Celtic fans would all love him to sign an extension. But say, for instance, he doesn't sign an extension and we start on the season, what impact's that going to have for Celtic? Because like coming up to Christmas, that's all that will be in everybody's lips. What we're going to do, what's the succession plan for Brendan Rodgers leaving? And what does it do to a team when their managers Joe off at the end of the season?
Aye, fuck me, you have peeled the fucking lid off a big can, haven't you fucker?
I honestly think it's massive. And I think
it is massive. I think you're being generous by saying fucking up to Christmas. I reckon by Halloween it'll be in the media questions. You know what I mean? And I suppose, yeah, we like in an ideal world, you'd love him to be on the kind of rolling contract with someone like Strachan was on post.
100%. Well, the contract that he was on the first time. I would love Celtic to just actually get him to sign a 1-year rolling contract.
That's the ideal world, right? But at the end of the day, if it's going to be announced, when would you want it to be announced? You want it to be announced like at a really pivotal time or a fucking a good time. You know what I mean? I would imagine you'd love to think that conversation's somehow been scratched in some way, at least been fucking like nodded towards before now. But
you'd love it to happen,
but I know, but I think we'll all get a clearer idea when we see how the transfer window closes in, honestly. Because at the end of the day, the reason Brendan Rodgers left in the first place, and we all know this, is because his ambitions and his plans weren't going to be, I suppose, adhered to by the club. And the fit wasn't there. I'm sure there's other reasons, I'm sure there's money and all that shit. But if that, again, we mentioned this at the very start when Rodgers came back again. We spoke about this. We said, are the club going to make the same fucking mistake? And that's what we're going to find out.
I think that's a bit simplistic that the club he left because
I understand that. But it's definitely been a big factor.
He's been on record saying he always had an inkling to go back to England, and that was always in his forefront. He thought he'd unfinished business down there, and he said now that he's got no interest in going back. Whether you believe that or not, but he's been on record saying that was his main motivation for going back to England, because he believed he still could achieve something down there and had a bit of unfinished business. But then when he come back, he says he's kind of exercised that and doesn't have any interest in going back to England now, whether that's true or not. But that's what he said. But for a Brendan Rodgers' point of view, right, signing the 1-year rolling contracts, maybe knowing his best interest if he's going to leave at the end of the season, because he then goes to a club, he's got no signing, they don't need to pay any compensation to Celtic or whatever, and he can just go in and it's a free roll for them to go in and just agree terms with a new club. But if we sign the 1-year rolling contract, because I'm led to believe that Leicester City will have to pay us somewhat 4 or 5 million quid.
Yeah. They had the players dropping, all right.
Around that.
Aye.
Whatever it was.
So it's in Celtic's best interest, without a doubt, to get him signed up. Ideally, he would sign another 3-year contract. That would be the dream, And you've got to say, what we achieved in the Champions League last year, and he's not been too shabby in the league either, but what we achieved in the Champions League last year, you've got to say, this is the time when the club has to back him and to try and move it to the next level. The next level might only be equaling what we did last year, or maybe getting through winning a qualifier. But it's definitely within our grasp. I would be confident getting into the Champions League this year that we could actually, I'm not saying we can get anywhere near winning it, but do a bit of damage, because I think we were all mightily impressed the way Celtic handled the Champions League this year. And getting it to a Bayern Munich team in the last minute is no shame whatsoever. And just with another couple of players, a bit more luck with injuries, you could get to the last 16 maybe. And that you've got the manager in place. You know, you've got everything in place. You've got money in the bank, and hopefully we get through the qualifier. But I think the qualifier is another massive thing, depending on who we're going to sign. Because I would see Celtic board waiting to see if we get into the Champions League. Because two factors. Obviously, you're guaranteed the wedge coming in then, and also you can probably attract a better standard of player if they know they're guaranteed 8 Champions League games. Because at the minute, you're selling the club to somebody saying, if we get through a qualifier, you're getting 8 Champions League games and maybe they can come to Scotland. You know, if they're kind of established player, that they've got offers to go to England, to go Germany, Italy, Spain, France, they would maybe err on the side of going there to a team that's not in the Champions League because they're playing, maybe not so much France, but because
you know what, Jason, right? It's I 100% agree with you, right? But I'd be interested in anyone on here or in the chat room. Have we ever signed a big player between qualifying for the Champions League and the end of the transfer window?
No, because
I know we've had this debate loads of.
The likes of Vanagor Hasselink and stuff coming in at the end of.
Was he a big player though at the time? Was he a big name?
He was already. He was Dutch
one
international.
of the longest names we've ever had.
But the thing is, right? So we know that there's a certain type of player that will not come to Scotland because they will have other fucking options, right? So you're facing in quite a small pool of players who are going to want to come and play in the Scottish League.
But I think this new Champions League format is different, Marty. Because
it does stir the pot a wee bit, doesn't it?
It maximises our opportunities, you know. But the bottom line is they're going to be saying, look, they're playing Scottish football, blah blah blah. Is that what you really want to be? So we have a narrow type of player who will say, "Aye, fucking right, that's a good challenge, big club." You heard that young fella from Fulham talk about the way that Matt O'Reilly sold Celtic to him. Go. You know, you'll love it. Great time, blah blah blah. You know, and you hear Rodgers openly, like it used to be said quietly. It's not said quietly anymore. Rodgers says this club is a stepping stone. Like he said it out loud. They come here for a couple of years, they go elsewhere, they make more money. That's fine. Whereas years ago, that was kind of fucking sacrilegious to us. We're going, well, we're good enough. Fuck you. You know, why do you need to go elsewhere? There's a realization now that where we are in the whole football kind of framework, you know, and you're right, Jason. You play to your strengths. You say, massive club, you know, lifetime opportunity to to connect with a fan base that'll love you forever if you do your bit. Champions League football, blah blah blah. And the wages won't be what you'll make elsewhere. But if you do well here, we have enough examples of players who have gone on to bigger and better things and made fortunes on the back of playing for Celtic. Look at Frimpong, look at O'Reilly, blah blah blah. You know, so it's about putting the whole mix to a player, and they could still fucking say no. And that's what racks our heads because we have a great football offering here. We've got a good club, but the bottom line is the players just go nah. I don't fancy it, or you could be way down the line on a signing, and some other fucking club just comes in at the last minute and takes them away for you. Like,
I think we sign the players that we can sign. Do you know what I mean? I totally agree with Jason that we've all used that scenario before, but I think generally the players we talk to and we go after are the ones that we can get. I think if we went for players in their early 30s sort of thing who've been around a bit, that scenario maybe might apply to them.
Yeah, and my going back to what I said earlier on, you know, it's frustrating at times, you know, where we have money, but money won't bring a certain level of player. They just will not come here. They'll just go, I want your money, you know, because I want to play in Germany or I want to play in Spain or whatever else. And it must be really frustrating for the club because you can bet your balls they're sitting around talking about Messi's and fucking whoever's. Do you know what I mean? At a level, and the reality is that level of player just won't come here. They might have done 25 years ago when we had Larson and Sutton and Hodgson and those players who were prepared to come here, but they probably won't come now. And I have absolutely no problem with us actually bringing in a couple of players like that, Liam, see, just what you mentioned, a couple of older heads, you know, who can come in.
That's the kind of signing I'm talking about. See, like like a Jamie Vardy, but I don't mean him. But I kind of mean guys.
Yeah,
I mean better players than him, but
like
his
a
age
Kasper,
group.
like a Kasper Schmeichel and a fucking
Yes,
Joe Hart.
exactly.
Players who
Exactly.
have still plenty to give. Like a Colo Torre. Like Colo Torre was
Mm.
one of the best signings we made in the past decade.
He was
For
fantastic.
that season, he just settled everybody down. No nonsense. Decent player. Not fucking stratospheric. Just a fucking sound player. I was gutted when he retired. I was like, oh fuck, that's a real fucking shame because you could have got another fucking 2 years out of him. Do you know what I mean? Playing at our level in Scotland. So I'm nowhere near averse to that kind of saying whatsoever. In fact, it wouldn't do us a fucking button of harm. You know, particularly if you have that strategy of giving the youth players more first team opportunities.
See,
And you've somebody like him going, watch what he does. He's amazing. Look at him. Just
I would
copy him.
love to. Aaron Moy, obviously, we hadn't heard much about him, but how
Great
good
example.
is he? You know, guys like him to come in, and I think that's what we need for.
And he won't be there. Maybe a player who's not going to be there for more than 2 years, Jason. Do you know what I mean? You just know. Look, come up and do your job. We'll give you a few quid. You can fuck off again. You know, just fill a gap for us. Blah blah blah. They're more likely to go. But you know what? Well, that's not a bad opportunity. It beats playing for Derby or fucking. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or fucking.
But see,
fucking.
Liam,
you've kind of had those along the road over the years. You've had the Hartleys, you've had the Robsons, you've had the
Could you imagine if you're a player and you're 30, 32, right? And you're looking at playing for a club in the lower championship where you'll make a few quid, but you're paying fucking 40 games a year, 50 games a year at that level. It's punishing. Do you know what I mean? Where you can say, listen, you come up here and let your light shine on, you know what I mean? That you're playing Champions League football, you're not playing, lower championship football.
We should be signing better players than the English Championship with guys that are over the hill. I'm talking about getting guys.
No, I'm just using that as an example. They're stepping down to the Premiership and they're making fortunes. Do you know what I mean? But you can say, well, look, we can match those wages, okay, but you're getting a better standard of football. Come up here. Do you know, or a player, maybe an Italian player, or a fucking Spanish player, or something. You know, I don't know how our scouting works.
Here's the thing, though, Marty. Fucking a party. I watching this Wrexham fucking show party. They're hoovering up all these cunts. I mean,
I know, but here's the
James
thing:
McLean, the Fletchers, the fucking Rodriguez, the
exactly,
thing Celtic made saying.
And you can hoover up as many players as you like, but as Jason says, we have the Champions fucking League to say you're not stepping down here, kids. This is fucking you maintaining your grade of a footballer who Celtic feel clearly can perform at this level. You know, where we wouldn't be fucking asking the other ways. It's a fucking. I mean, it's a real. I think it's a compelling argument.
It's kind of like listen. They don't put Muppets in the Champions League, and we don't either.
No, but between us, we've been able to rhyme off 6 good examples there of players like that, where you can point to them and go, Colo Torre, he was here for a year, had a ball. Fucking Aaron Moy turned out a fucking superstar. Half the cunts had never heard of him. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely fucking doable. And
Aaron Moy played for what, a year and a half, 2 years, and had a song before James Forrest. Fuck me.
Yeah, but just to go back on, pardon me, need the booker or burp. Just to go back on Liam's point. You know, if you're bringing these guys in, and they're all too. Like I always use Paul Lambert as an example as well. They're all looking at the end of their careers and where they're going. You say, look, we can coach our kids. You know, get your badges started and do it here. And, you know, that's another thing you could say to them. You know, let's start looking at where you're going after your career. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, do it here. Because we want that fucking knowledge to transfer down into our system. You know, good practice and things, coaching that players have seen elsewhere. You know, that's how we should be thinking as a club. We should be thinking almost like a framework where your offer is more than money, or you know, you're giving them a big football experience. Say, listen, come with us, stay. You know, stay on.
What about your man Jordan Henderson? He's leaving Ajax.
Do you know what? I did kind of fucking nod to that when I seen that he was leaving Ajax. I was like, you know what?
But again, these types of players, these are the type of players who I think do become more available towards the end of the window. Because there's nobody out fighting. There's nobody out fighting for them. You know what I mean?
Kyle Walker would have been some signing.
Do you know what I mean? It's like they're looking at September coming, going, where am I going to be next year?
Well,
where did he go? Kyle Walker, did he sign for someone this week? Did I hear his name get mentioned?
Is it Burnley he signed for somebody in the Premier League?
Have a look. I'm sure I heard his name get mentioned. I'm not a fan of Henderson at all. But I do think it's a bit of an interesting segue in, like we talked about.
He signed with Burnley. He signed with
Burnley, right. So Rodgers is definitely
what age is Kyle Walker? 36, 37 maybe?
He's fit as fuck though, isn't he?
But that's
Kyle Walker, 35.
We have this argument. Me and Scott used to have this argument whereby it was only ever Teddy Sheringham. He was the only example that you could ever give of a player playing at the top level right till his fucking Zimmer frame was nearly going to be handed.
And they're everywhere now.
Exactly, Jason. That is not the fucking case now. People look after themselves far, far better. Medical science is far better when they get injured. Sports science is far better when they're being trained so they can extend their career. And I'm telling you now, a couple of old heads like that I would have no fucking issue with, like a defensive midfielder or a couple of centre backs at that age. Look at fucking Davy Weir. Davy Weir's a Hun legend. Playing till he was fucking 42 or 3 or something. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck? Like? Do you know what I mean? And who did fuck all? No, I mean, he just stood still and waited on the ball coming, headed it away, booted it away. No nonsense. But he could read a game. Do you know? And
I'm sure Big Pat could have put in a word with Kyle Walker too if we were in for him. Big Pat,
but that's my point. Like, there's loads of players where you're coming close to September. You should be identifying 2 or 3 of those.
But like, a surprise like that would really G everybody up. Because like people fucking like, I mean, let's be honest, that's part of the
you'll get constant. You'll get constant like fuck.
But they always get constant on Marty. There's always constant overhang.
What are you bringing that man for? He's 40 or something. You're going,
exactly. I know. Listen here, Marty. I was part of the brigade that when Lubo got signed, I said, we're fucked. We're sending some 330 grand fucking pensioner. This is fucked. And then, you know what I mean?
I know. Boom. Fucking boom shagger. Boom
I was
shagger.
one of the people.
Listen, Liam, you made a point, and we kind of get. You said, "Did we ever sign MD like before, like the qualifier?"
No, between qualifying and the end of the transfer window, so like that 3-day gap or whatever it is.
Do you know what we've actually done? We've actually get fucking bombed out, and we made signings. I remember it was a few years ago. I try to think who it was. But we fucking we lost the qualifier and then we brought them in after it. You're like, what the fucking, who thought that up? Do you know what I mean? It could have been the difference to getting you through.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. It's like, you think, is there only 3 days? I mean, you know after the first leg, if there's a good chance, and you get a right good result in the first leg, you're potentially there. But, somebody like Kyle Walker, for instance, that would be probably a game changer for somebody like that. If you could sign them, if they were guaranteed 8 Champions League games, there'd be certain players out there that would make a massive difference.
And it doesn't always work. Like, what do you call that stupid Hong Kong to miss the penalty in the thing?
Oh, the Welsh boy.
Ramsey.
Who? Ramsey. It doesn't always work, but it's worth fucking having a go. Do you know what I mean? And saying, here, you know, come in, whatever your position is, we need to strengthen there, you know, and if you come in this place, the fucking 2 cunts in front of you, then you're in. You know, and that's, I always say too, it's great for players who are already there to keep the bastards on their toes and say, listen, if you're out, you're out. With somebody else here ready to come in, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. It's still very early. You know what I mean? It's not even the 12th. Fucking bonfires haven't even lit. You know what I mean?
Not on every coast flag on fire yet.
Do you miss the bank holiday, Joe? Do you get it?
What?
Do the fuck?
No, I'm saying, Joe, do you miss getting the bank holiday?
Do you know what? See, when I worked in shorts, Marty, Jason, when I worked in fucking Bombardier in shorts at Newton Abbey, I was like one of maybe 15.
So you have to understand here, see this factory where Joe worked. It used to be festooned inside the factory.
Oh,
the flags. This is no kidding. Like, there's
music in the canteen.
Flags and bunting inside the factory. Not on the walls outside the fucking factory. Inside the factory.
Selling poppies. There was bad music in the fucking canteen of the 12. It was insane. I was one of maybe 15 to 20 Catholics in a workforce of 1,500, right? And here's what would happen, right? Do you know where you get your annual holidays and you get a certain amount of days, right? You would lose 2 weeks immediately at the start of every year because they would shut down for the 12th for a fortnight. So no matter what you fucking thought, what holidays you wanted, you lost 2 weeks of your holidays immediately. This was like this is a Canadian corporate fucking enterprise that agreed with these fuckers and said, listen, yeah, no problem. You can just shut down for 2 weeks because it's culturally appropriate. And we all lost our 2 weeks of our holidays in the fucking 12th, where we couldn't really fucking go anywhere other than fucking down south.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm not actually getting in their side here, Joe, but see here as well, the same time of year, no, actually the 12th, but it was the last 2 weeks in July. Factories here, for I was a kid, all shut down for the last 2 weeks of July. It was the Glasgow Fair fortnight.
But that was this case all over Britain. You had the Glasgow Fair fortnight, and then you had the Birmingham fucking fortnight, and the London fortnight, and that's you still actually get that to an extent. You'll see holiday deals for Spain in different areas for different times. It's kind of lingered on.
Aye, you know? Edinburgh had a different one for Glasgow. It's a Dundee had a different one, but it was a done thing here that you had your 2 week summer holiday in the last 2 weeks of July, whether you liked it or not.
No, we just lost the 12th fortnight.
Yep. Still do. Still the builders fortnight. Builders don't work over that well.
The best part of the year was when they started selling poppies on the shop floor. You're going like, right now we're going to find out who the soup takers are. You know what I mean? And you had to stand strong. I had inside. We had these toolboxes, right? And I say tools, it was fucking scalpels and shit like that there and tape and stuff we were using. It wasn't really tools, it was like utensils more than anything else, right? But inside my fucking thing, as an act of defense, I had a sticker of a Celtic player. Who do you think I had?
What year was this?
This would have been 1987.
Paul McStay.
Anton Rogan.
I know, 98. Enrico Annoni.
Hung like a big fucking pony.
Enrico Annoni. And I work with straight up loyalists, like fucking for the best part of I got that job with 3 years. 3 years I was in there.
You're a braver man than me, Joe.
They love me. They fucking love me, though. Well, you know what? The birds love me, right? Because my first girlfriend was a Protestant, so I knew how to play that game. You know what I mean?
I bet you're in that canteen with your guitar playing a few tunes for him.
I was playing poker with the Fenians, Liam. That's all I did. I was playing poker with the Fenians, and I don't even know how to play poker. That's why I lost so much money.
I just checked the chat there. Macaulay's putting questions to us. Fucking jump on here, you banger.
He's a piece of shit. I met the after.
Scott hurling from the ditch, McCurry.
Yep.
Talk about hurling. Fucking hell! What about that at the weekend, Marty boy?
What a sport.
We get fucking PG. We get all wet in the chat now.
Well, it's going to be a bastard for tickets this year. Everybody's going to be crying their fucking soup.
When's the last time Tip won?
I don't know, a couple of years ago. Cork haven't won near 20 years.
Oh, Jesus.
So tell me, a Cork, because Dublin are fucking hopeless at the hurling, right? They done all right this year. But is Cork the number one county for the double? Good at both of them?
They have what you call a dual county. So there's years where Cork's football and hurling teams have been in All Irelands. You know, not I think not since the 80s, but they had an amazing team. Sort of early 2000s, mid 2000s. You had the two Halpines, the two O'Connor brothers. You had fucking Joe Dean. Donald Cusack was their keeper. They were phenomenal. And then what happened was they got into a row inside the county about money, and the Cork players went on strike, and they've never really recovered from it. Like, it's taken 20 years. That's no kidding. They've never really got back on top. You know, so they've been kind of a sleeping giant. But because
what a crowd they had
here. They're hungry. That's why they're totally fucking hungry for it. They haven't won since I think 2005.
They outnumbered the Dubs about 10-1 in the stadium, it looked like.
Oh, 100%. So the Dubs would be more of a football county anyway. Dub hurling's only really coming to the fore now. But
back in the 80s, the Tip hurling team was legendary, wasn't it? Like back in the 80s.
Tip were outstanding. Cork were always thereabouts. But the problem was, you have all the teams from Munster, You know, so you were only ever getting one Munster team coming through a year because whoever won the Munster champ. That's why
Aye.
the Munster final is one of the biggest fucking sporting events in the world, because only one of those counties are going to get out. You know, so that's why Cork and Tipperary have never played each other in a final, because they would have been only one of those teams would have got through traditionally. Whereas since the rejig, you've had obviously the player strike that fucked them, and then you had this juggernaut Limerick team who came through and who just swept all before them, and before that, Tipper 3 or 4 in a row. Do you know what I mean? So it's been a long time coming from them. So the bastards are hungry. They want to fucking win this. You know, great county too. Like we had links with there's a team in Cork called the Piercings, and my kid brothers used to go down play down and whatever else, and they have their insignia is the red hand of Ulster, but it doesn't have a thumb. And we said, then where's the thumb? And they went, it's not going back on until we get the 6 counties back. And that's deepest, darkest Cork, rebel Cork, you know.
Good. I know since you've poisoned me, but I watch it all the time now. Fucking absolutely brilliant.
That's
It's
fucking outstanding. It's rare to see a poor hurling game. No, I mean, it's rare you get a bad game.
The ability of the boys is on the fitness levels is fucking unrivaled. It's unbelievable.
It's well, it
See
takes dedication.
See just the ability of them, the way the ball's in the ground where they just shoot it up, and they see the guys that catch it with a bare hand and all. It's came the length of that field, and you seen actually when Celtic were playing Cork City, the size of a hurling park, you know,
yeah,
because you obviously seen compared to a football park.
Yeah,
But,
they had to bring it in, like I don't know how many feet, maybe 40 feet at one end and maybe 20 feet at the other end to shorten it down, you know. So, but the other thing is there's more players. It's 15 players on a hurling team rather than 11, you know. So you have a couple of extra bodies to cover the space.
Tip one at the 14.
I know.
An incredible goal as well to win. I mean, like, here's the thing: people that don't watch hurling don't understand how hard it is to score a goal in hurling.
I know.
Well, that's why I can't get my head around, Joe, because I'm saying it must be easy to score a goal.
No, is it? Fuck.
Aye. And fucking Kilkenny didn't score one goal. They scored about fucking 800 points and not one
Kilkenny
goal.
Kilkenny are the big team. Like, Kilkenny are like there's no other sport in Kilkenny at all. They don't play anything else. They don't play Gaelic football, soccer, fucking nothing. They don't give a fuck about anything. All they play is hurling. There was a very famous picture a couple of years ago of the school went to mass, like a leavers mass, and they had to leave all their hurls outside the fucking chapel, and the fucking hurls were piled like 10 foot high outside the church, you know. So that's all they do. So for Kilkenny to be in such a rut is like unheard of. You know that they're they haven't been in a final now. They haven't won a final in a few years, you know.
It's the bad juju of DJ Curry and his fraudulent ways. That's what it is, Marty.
Fuck, I tell you what, Matt, for those who don't know, that Kilkenny's greatest ever player is a guy called.
Did I tell you about the story about him?
No.
Our John played in a game at Celtic Park.
Oh, you did tell me this.
It was like a closed door thing, but it was all Irish business. John thought it was all Irish businessmen and all that. And there was 2 Celtic legends. It wasn't Larson and Lubo, but I can't mind. Lubo was maybe one of them at the time, but there wasn't a crowd there or anything. And all these businessmen had obviously maybe paid for it, and they got a couple of celebrities to play, and John played. So he's fucking playing right back. There's fucking guys in the left wing and the old guy. John's like, fucking have him easy. So the ball gets down the right back. John's jogging back to get it. This guy's fucking down the side of him. Wolf cuts inside. John says, what the fuck? John had no idea who he was. So he's talking to one of the centre backs. He's like, fucking who's that boy I'm up against? He says, you don't know fucking DJ Carey. John says, what? He says, he's the best fucking hurler of all time.
He's like the Henrik Larsson of hurling, like without a shadow of a doubt.
But that's kind of ruined now, Marty.
It's fucking people in. So basically what he did was he defrauded tons of rich people by pretending he had incurable cancer. If you're going to have a sort of a cancer, you know what I mean? If you're going to try and take money off people for cancer, make sure it's curable. His problem was he said it was incurable, and yet The pump was still
Still
alive. Right? And what he
Miracle.
done was a famous photograph of himself was he was pretending
Oh, that's the
to
best part.
he was pretending to some rich cunt that he was in getting treatment, and the fella started to fucking sort of smell a rat, and he was like, "Well, show us, let us see your photo. Where are you? Are you in the hospital?" And he sent him a photograph of as if he was getting chemotherapy with the thing up your nose, but what he actually done it with was an iPhone charger. He
I've
put
seen
an
that.
iPhone charger up his
Plaster.
nose and a
Plaster.
fucking plaster across his fucking bridge of his fucking snoot. So the balloon went up. The sisters in our countries nor fucking robber. So the
She
family
fucked her up, right? Aye.
were all at it.
What's your third bags?
But it's like I mean it's genuinely it's like Henrik Larsson defrauding like loads of rich cunts. Like he was
Aye, it's like Henrik Larsson running a
absolutely
Ponzi scheme. You know what I mean?
exactly. And like an absolute god in terms of hurling. When I was growing up as a kid, I'm a fucking absolute hero. Loved him. Incredible athlete, brilliant player, but a fucking scumbag cunt.
To me, in terms of hurling legends, there's him and there's Nicky English, and then there's a
Aye.
Sparrow. There's a Sparrow.
Well, you'd have Henry Shefflin who came behind him.
Shefflin as well.
Shefflin, like Kilkenny didn't suffer when DJ Curry retired because
Is this the
Shefflin.
fucking Joe Brolly podcast? About,
I know.
we switch channels here.
Hey, anyway, here, listen. Scott
All this
McCulley.
Irish tosh.
Scott McCulley. Long shag has spoken. Enough of this immigrant fish.
Stop the boats.
We're nerds.
So
Scott
listen.
McCurry's got a question. Scott McCurry's got a question. A valid question. Can I ask the panel? Do you believe there's a reason the club is stockpiling money, or is it basically a byproduct of the structure and procedures we are currently working within? And that's kind of a shady question.
They make the blank answer is we don't know. We can all give our opinions, but we do not know. Are they planning on? See, the thing that everybody's going to jump on is it's the paedophile cases and all that. It's not that. It's not that at all, because they can all be dealt with a couple of million. Do you know what I mean? And you might have one or two who push the boat out and want to do more. That's fine. There's enough money to cover all that without question. So it's not that. So what is it then? It's not buying players, because we're not heaving out 20 million, 30, 40 million at a time. But we have broken the transfer record twice in a year. Right? So so the club can legitimately say we've never paid out as much money before as we have done this last couple of years. They can also say our wage bill has never been as high. And it's precarious, because if we don't get into the Champions League this year, you're carrying that wage bill with the expectation that you're going to still spend money on players. Right? So again, there's a bit of fucking leeway there where you say, well, we've the money in the bank to cover that in the if that happens, we have money to cover that. So we're hedging our bets. We're trying to. You can see we've paid money out for these players, but we're not going to go overboard and just spunk the whole lot, which again is probably sensible. The third thing is the stadium, and are they actually going to plan for upgrades to that stadium, because the stadium was really only ever meant to last in its current form for 30 years. So we're at that point now. Where the next 30 years and the 30 years beyond that stadium's now going to become, rather than an asset, it'll become a liability. It's going to need to be upgraded, like in general. Anyway, just Scott knows this. This is Scott's game. That we've talked about Arsenal stadium. Arsenal want to demolish their stadium because they think it's old and it's younger than ours. Do you know what I mean? So we don't have all mod cons in the stadium. Scott, again, will confirm there's no fucking hot water in the North Stand at all. Doesn't exist.
But we
And
make it alcohol soon, though. We make it alcohol soon. The alcohol's coming.
But that's before you talk about USB ports in your fucking chair and all that sort of stuff. And here's the thing about alcohol, Joe. Where are they going to fucking sell it from? Because see, when you're at the top of that North Stand, there's nowhere to put a fucking alcohol stand.
I have visions of Davy McLaughlin with one of them big fucking baseball yokes all around.
But we already
hot
know.
Dogs and shit walking and going, get your hot dogs.
But every one of us has had a pint in the stadium. We know you can get it.
No.
It's giving it to the fucking poor people in the fucking stadium.
No, but Marty, they do sell alcohol in the stadium, in the concourse. They do that. They've done it for a number of games last year, up until half one, until they open all the rest of the turnstiles.
Yes, you're allowed in the stadium to drink. Correct.
Yeah.
But if people are, if they're
bottom bit.
if the law is going to change, what's that, Jason?
Marty's point is up the stairs. See where
Yeah,
Marlon.
yeah, no, I get, yeah, totally
It's
agree.
it's fucking impossible.
It's
Yeah.
not
You can't do
impossible,
it.
Marty. They would just need to have one keg or whatever. You know,
Well,
they could do it.
what they could do is revert like they did with the do you know the disabled part where they rebuilt it? They probably need to do something like that, and it could end up costing them seats.
See, to be honest with you, Marty, what you could do, see up the stairs, see in England, it's like bottles of Carling, but they're plastic bottles.
Yes,
They sell all them.
I've done that in Wembley,
Aye, so they would just get fridges and do that and do.
like mobile
They'd be
fridges or something.
Aye,
But
limited.
even at that, Jason, like it's fucking so. See the wee corridors up on the top of the north stand
Oh,
on the
it's
top of the
tiny.
tower.
It's
There's
tiny.
fucking no room. So
Aye,
even
it's
for
sat
like
up there for years.
even for like a cart or something, it would be fucking tough. Honestly,
No,
I
it's
don't think
tiny.
I don't think people realize that. You know. So look, that's my hope. My hope
Hey.
is that we're actually looking ahead here and going. We need. I always argue our fucking fans deserve the best, right? We deserve the very, very best of facilities, and I just hope that the fucking board are looking at our facilities and going, where are they going to be in 2075? Now, I sent you a fucking screenshot during the week.
You need to build a new stadium.
Well, possibly, or you could do it incrementally. You know, you could do it one stand at a time, like we did before. So you're not fucking everybody out. Build one up, knock one down. That could
But
be done,
but
but something has to be done.
But see with the top tier, there's no room to wiggle back because you've got a graveyard there.
No, but there's room to wiggle forward, Jason.
Aye, but you need to reduce some of the seats.
No. You could knock down the fucking main stand and push the whole stadium towards the road. There's
Aye,
fucking
but
tons of room.
you're building a new stadium then.
Well, possibly. But the point is that I just hope somebody's actually fucking thinking about it. I'm not sure they are, to be honest. Now, I sent you a screenshot during the week of the Huns Edmondson House. They've converted that into a match day venue for their fans, and it's made a profit. Right? And that's my point. We had all these plans in the bag. Where the fuck is our version of that to give our fans extra on a day out?
There's some chancers bought see that plot of land behind turnstiles and everything.
Yeah, Jay Mortimer bought it.
Aye, that's been bought to build
What the
a
fuck?
fucking
Like?
3-story venue.
So some other
match.
fuckhead is doing it, whereas we had the whole cafe, hotel, fucking museum thing all
Aye.
done. Do you know what I mean? And Liam, I think, is head on it there. Their option is, well, we'll just open the concourses already. So you can do with limited cost, get everybody in, blah, blah, blah. Instead of actually thinking ahead and going, well, is that going to be suitable for the next X amount of fucking years? Say the law does change and you're allowed to fucking do more or whatever else. It's fucking nuts. You know, we should be ahead of the curve and saying, invest money now, take whatever it is now, set it aside, stick it in a fucking long yield bank account and get your plans done.
Well,
And when the time comes, fucking boom.
Going back to the original question, I think it's really simple. I think we're run by accountants who are completely, risk focused.
Accountants and fucking lawyers.
Yeah,
Nicholson's
and
a
B,
lawyer, and
yeah,
fucking
and B-
Lowell's an accountant.
and B, we're winning all the time. So there's they don't have to play to the audience. Do you know what I mean? They're just, season ticket waiting list, demand there all the time. We're winning all the time. So, they get a bit of moaning, but they don't have to do fuck all, really.
Yep. I agree.
Really sad. Really sad. So there's zero ambition in the club.
A long-term ambition. I would agree with that.
Anything strategic, anything innovative. I asked Brendan Rodgers that question, and he answered me like I had two heads, man. Just
Do you know what I mean? But when you
where's
think
the
about
innovation there?
our stadium's 30 years old, right? It's 1985, basically, 95, 96. Are we planning on keeping this same stadium for the next 30 to 40 years? Like, surely we're not.
100% we are.
Well, that's my fear. My fear is that you're fucking spot on, Jason. Do you know? And that's those sorts of things are what, like Fergus McCann was saying, that your stadium should be your revenue generator. Do you know what I mean? That should be your primary fucking asset, and everything swings around it. It was never really done, and they've tacked on wee bits like the fucking cafe and the sports bar and opening up the concourses, but there's never been any thought to say, right, what's happening when we die?
Aye,
Do you know,
the thing is,
and those things will catch up with you. Stupid.
when you actually think about it now, when they built the stadium, right, they must have done it kind of on the cheap because they built it in the exact same site without any foresight, because you've got a massive bit of ground in front of the main stand that you could have moved the stadium 40 feet towards London Road without any problem. But it would have mean building a new stadium. So they had the main stand in place, so they built the other 3 stands.
And at that time, Jason, if you think about it the other way, the main stand wasn't that old. It was less than 10 years old, so it was modern enough.
Do you know the
for
main
those
stands
days.
don't get any running hot water?
I wouldn't fucking doubt it. The main stand is actually the main stand that has been there since fucking the 50s. It's the same stand. There's maybe, sorry, no. I think it's the early 70s. It's the same stand. All they
Surely you
did
could
was
find a
build-
plumber that could fucking find. They
No,
could find a way to put hot water
all they did,
among the pipes. I mean,
but it's-
my uncle Cormac's a plumber. He could figure it out. He loves
you
it.
could, but you'll lose 3 rows of seats doing it. That's what they won't touch it because they know it'll cost them fucking hundreds of thousands of pounds in the long run.
Can we
'Cause
can we make sure some of those seats belong to Rod
you
Stewart?
can't actually do it right. So
Scott says the main stand has got hot water. Well, I'm led to believe the toilets my mate shoes hasn't got any hot water, so some of the toilets have not.
yeah,
Is he colorblind? Is he red and blue?
but this is the point I'm making. The actual stand where you sit is as old as fuck. It's older than me. But they built the extension, the red brick bit onto the top where they have the Walford and all that sort of stuff. That's newer. That was from the 80s. Do you know what I mean? So at the time when Fergus McCann was building the stadium, you could kind of see his point. He was looking at that bit going, well, that's not that old. It's less than 10 years old, so there's no point knocking that down. Let's just get this built. We need it quick, which we did. You know what I mean? We needed that fucking stadium up as fast as we could. From memory, there's 2 different companies built it. There was a different company built the North Stand, then built the 2, the Jack Stein and the Lisbon Land Stand. I'm sure Scott would know that too. Do you know what I mean? But it was done, the 2 ends were done a lot cheaper than the North Stand because that was where all your fucking, you know, your corporate bit and the boxes and stuff were going on at that point. So it's amazing to think that nobody is actually going, where's this fucking stadium going to be here in whatever amount of years' time? And that's what I'm saying. Those English teams like the Spurs and like Old Trafford is old as fuck now. Do you know what I mean? Because Old Trafford was kind of the same as us. They jerry built it. They just stuck bits on. You know,
Fucking Anfield.
The thing is, though, right, with Celtic, as long as they're playing in Scottish football, which is probably going to be forever, but it's a big outlay and a big investment for them, isn't it, to build a whole new stadium? And I know teams in England do it all the time, but
it totally
they've got
is.
guaranteed money.
But you can also host European finals.
No, I know. And here's
Internationals.
here's the fucking thing, Liam. You've got December Champions League game, and you've all these fucking journalists out chattering their teeth to 2 in the morning in a fucking hut outside. That's the sort of shit that we should be saying. Do you know what? As a club, that's not acceptable for us. We should be we should be doing this, and we've got tons of room around the ground. We can build fucking something if we don't have to knock a whole fucking stadium down, but we can definitely do more.
That's the thing. So we've talked a lot about rebuilding the main stand, which is where I think we should put the money. But I mean, what you're talking even to do that, 100 million?
Oh,
more?
easy,
Right?
easy.
So
easy, absolutely easy. But the point is that it's a long-term thing, so it shouldn't be. It's not coming out of your today money. Do you know what I mean? So you've got a chunk of money, you bury it, you say we're putting that in a long yield account, that'll work itself out. Get the plans done. You have to go through all the planning shit. It's not like the 90s where we were going to fictional fucking Swiss banks or where we were relying on multi-millionaires coming from fucking Canada. We are a fucking sound business and we can take on debt now to do these things. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility whatsoever to get long-term finance, have already money sitting there for it, and fucking go for it.
can't get the cunts to spend the money that's in the bank. Never mind, fucking borrow
Exactly.
money.
That's Scott's question. To what fucking end? You know, is anybody actually asking these questions? Why is this money sitting here? And you aren't spending on players. You can argue that you've obviously broke the transfer record. Oh, fair enough, but it's not all going there. You know, and the reason is they're shaking themselves in case we don't get Champions League football. That's the short term answer. But say we do. We have another 50 million this year.
But that doesn't make
It's
sense
3 years
because
in a row.
Kuhn's about to go, right? So Kuhn's going to bring in 18, 19 million or whatever it is. So, we're already, even if we bought 2 or 3 players for
With
20, 25
with-
million, we're going to still be
with
almost
Kuhn,
even.
with the money we made on fucking Kyogo, with the money that's coming in from Frimpong,
Yeah.
like there's no shortage of money. The
Exactly.
money, like this time last year, we actually had the issue of fucking warning to the stock exchange because we were too rich.
You probably will again.
Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? When you were a kid, could you ever have thought Celtic be in that position? We were saying, here, money man, we're loaded here. We need to tell you this. We're fucked. We're actually through the roof in terms of the money that's coming in. What the fuck, like?
Here, by the way, I need to mention, I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm going to, see when you were digging the dirt and DJ Carey and that, I'm going to dig the dirt on the potential, what a lot of folk think is a Celtic legend. So obviously, you know, I'm on the committee of the Tommy Gemmell community project. So we've got a night in DL Park coming up, and John Hartson had committed to do the night for us. So one of the lassies in the committee had a word with him, and he says, aye, I'll tell you the figures. He said he would do it for £500. So we're like, fine, £500 plus expenses. I'm like, delighted, going to get him up. Then he phones and says, oh, I can't do it for that. I usually take £3,000. I'll do it for £1,250. So we had a meeting with that, right, we'll just need to pay it. And then he phones back and says he's double booked. After that, so there you go, big fucking scumbag. So that's the kind of people hold these guys up as Celtic legends, right? We're actually a charity that's giving money to a community and building a statue of a proper Celtic legend in his hometown. And this is a guy that earned multi-millions for playing for Celtic and asked to give a wee bit back where he's still getting paid, but maybe not getting paid as much as he wants to get paid. And that's what he does. So there you go. It came straight from the horse's mouth. I'm on the committee. I know the exact figures. That's your facts. So we'll leave it at that. I just thought I'd get that out there because I tell all the guys, I says, well, I'm going to say it on the podcast. So fuck them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're not telling any lies. That's what happened. Fucking hell.
Aye. That's the folk you're dealing with. £3,000 it takes here. And you can see all these folk that run these Celtic. So we're running one, and I'm fundamentally against these nights because these nights are usually run by companies that make money. You know, they get Celtic fans to buy tables and they go there. It's not going to a charity, it's going to them. You know, they're making the margin. But we're no. Every penny that we make from it is going into the Tommy Gemmell Community Project. And that's, so we've got George McCluskey and Frank McAvenny have stood in, and we've got other Celtic legends that are going to be there that we've not announced, but it'll be a great night. And you know what, I'm glad, because I love George McCluskey 100 times more than I love fucking John Hartson. So
I'd give fucking George McCluskey the money. The money I was giving fucking Hartson, because George is a fucking gem.
Absolute diamond.
Yep. Gem of a guy. Not that
he that's a proper Celtic legend. You know, somebody steeped in the club, played for the club he loved, never says a bad word about Celtic, and turns up. Celtic supporters function, has done for years and years and years.
And at this point, I remind everybody that John Hartson wrote in the fucking Sun that he witnessed a riot in Dundee that didn't happen. And blamed
Exactly.
ourselves.
I fucking never liked it. I fucking always hated him. Since he ousted Sutton for the centre forward position, he scored 100 goals for us, but see at the end of the day, fuck him to eternal damnation. Simple as that.
Big George plays the Kano golf every year, mate. Some man.
Legend.
And his boy as well. Some golf for his boys.
So I just thought I'd get it out there, just to let folk know. So there you go. There's your John Hartson for you.
After dinner speaking, it's an industry, isn't it though? It's an industry. It's an industry. I mean,
oh, aye. They're on the Celtic bandwagon. I think Larson's 6 or 7 grand.
I think I've been to 2, right? But here's the thing. See if somebody films one of them and you watch it, you're kind of done. I watched the Larson, even the Larson. That's it. Like, what else is there? Right?
But
I don't need to go to the next one.
See the ones you went to? Like, I'm not wanting, don't name names.
Well, it was meant to be Moravchik, and it wound up being Thompson and Hartson. And to be fair, right, Hartson's a very good. He has developed a shtick, I suppose, when it comes to the Celtic sort of, after dinner speaking, because that's essentially what it was. We had dinner and stuff and a few pints, and Thompson's.
No, but I don't mean that, Joe. I mean, was it for a charity or was somebody just make money after
it was for a supporters club. It was.
Oh, right, okay, that's fine.
I mean, it wasn't well, as far as I was concerned, but that's what it was for. Yeah, and the other one I went to was it Petrov? I don't know, but I've been to two, and I think I've been to enough though. Two's enough. I mean, I think the actual. The idea of going and seeing your heroes in the flesh, I suppose, is the kind of draw, and the stories are kind of the draw as well. But I mean, like, we've all seen different versions of these kind of like nights, and it's generally the same story. I mean, you've heard it. I mean, how many times have you heard the? This is totally offside. How many times have you heard the Eric Cantona, Alex Ferguson after he jumped into the crowd? Fucking story from different players in Man United. It's that kind of sort of thing. We've heard the we've heard the Bobo Baldi grab Stan Petrov story from fucking 9 people who made it in fucking, some of them made it on the sub bench. I mean, it's one of them ones. I mean, it's kind of like it's a performance, it's a show, it's a bit of a bandwagon. And see if you're into it, you're up for it, and you want to spend time among other Celtic fans being nostalgic and listen to these stories, you fucking go for it and you enjoy yourself.
The thing is, Joe, I get all that, but see fundamentally, before you go to these things, look at what it's for. If it's for a supporters club, right, or if it's for a charity, bang on, go for it. It doesn't really matter what they're saying. I don't really care. You're just having a night out with your mates and you're listening to some partners, so it's always good. But the bottom line is, some of these things are run by fucking XL Promotions or whatever the company's called.
But that's what it becomes, the cottage industry, Jason, and that's what becomes problematic.
I wouldn't give you 2 pence to go to one of these things, So,
but again, and I suppose that's what becomes a wee bit kind of ethically strange for people like us who go like, well, if I'm going to go and see you, you're doing this for profit. You're not. Are you really the kind of person I want to go and see?
Listen, I think we can say formally on behalf of the HomeBhoys, John Hartson's a piece of shit. Right, that's courtesy.
Tells a good story, Liam. I gotta say, I was sucked in by his after dinner patter. You know what I mean? But then again, see if OJ had good after dinner speak, I'd be like, no problem, OJ, this is good crack.
Here's the fucking thing. There's not crowds of fucking Arsenal fans queuing up to listen to John Hartson.
That's true.
100%.
That's true.
So what the fuck? Why do we? You know what I mean? Crazy.
No, it's reverence. It's reverence for ex-players. I mean, we are somehow, I think, we're a bit more bitter because we're getting older, and we can see the kind of holes in the
I've said for years, Joe, you could dress a shite up in green and white, and Celtic fans would pay to go and watch it. Do you know what I mean? It's like they've realised, all these ex-players have realised there's fucking money to be made with these galoots.
Do you know what? I am a big fan of the word galoot. You don't hear it enough. You don't hear the word galoot enough. I'm a big fan of the word galoot.
But our support gets fucking fleeced for left, right, and centre with them, You see, and the thing is, Sean and all are letting the piss out of me, right? Because I'm promoting this night. I can't hear the one that's fucking always saying, get them to fuck. But the thing is, this is all for charity. This is all going to the community project.
I'd be lying to you, Jason, if I didn't say, when I seen it on your Facebook page, I didn't chuckle and go, well, there you go.
Aye, but it's totally different.
I know exactly. I'm with you on that. I
was getting involved in it.
Like everybody else that knows you, we probably went,
Aye, I know. I went picked up 190 badges there, right? Go to them, sent to China, make them and get them all made for us, right? And so I put up the group chat I'm on. Somebody's like, I'll have 20, I'll have 10, I'll have whatever. So I says, right, you all of them cost price. So I gave them the prices, but pennies, right? The next thing I've got them, I'm fucking out 250 quid. And the next thing, like, I'll take 20, I'll take 10, and it's all went silent. I'm like, where fucking here? I'm fucking let go of these batches. But see, the thing is, I could punt them off for like 4 quid each, make a few quid. Do you know what I mean? But I was trying to be a good turn to everybody. I got 50 odd t-shirts ordered, gave them to everybody cost price on this chat. See the fucking grief. 6 hours I spent one day. Fucking, can I change that size? Can I do this? Never made a centillion, right? Not a centillion did I make. Okay. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I should just add a £5 on every t-shirt and fucking made a few quid, 250 quid in the tail. Thanks very much. Everybody was still about them.
You charge by the hour, you fucking laughing.
Fucking unbelievable. Fucking John Hartson needs to take a leaf out my book.
John Hartson riot badges. That's the next thing. Let's go.
That's what one of the boys in the committee says. Fuck him after that riot comment. Anyway, he was a fucking devil. So there you go.
Listen, it's the fact you're advertising a golf day that really tickled me this week, mate.
By the way, it's the same day as the Kano golf day. Joe Martin was on the fucking texting me straight away. I'm like, Joe, it's not a day with you, mate. I'm going to holiday. He said, I got it wrong. I said, Joe, I'm on holiday. He says, oh, sorry, mate. Enjoy your holiday. I says, no, I'm on holiday with the golf day. So.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know whether I was going to say that on the podcast, but the hell, it's true.
It's not easy. It's not easy being good, Jay, is it? It's not easy being good.
Oh, we can't all be saints, can we?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Sometimes the wings melt.
See, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, if you're claiming to be a proper Celt like he does, you'd be desperate to go and support something like that. For Tommy Gilmore, fucking desperate, man.
You can only care about that bank balance.
No, of course, no. It's absolutely, man.
See, the ironic thing is, right, I had plenty of Celtic heroes when I was a kid. George McCluskey was one of them. Manny Teresa, she knew him because she lived in Bellshill, used to see him all the time. And look, he was a guy that I looked up to. And to be fair, Charlie Nicholas was an man. But I don't have any heroes now. See, like players nowadays, and even what Hartson's time, Larson, that fucking couldn't care less, you know. Just a shock to me. We obviously love seeing them play, and you know it's a pleasure to watch them play for Celtic. But all I'd support is the jerseys. I don't deal with heroes, but I did when I was a kid. So I've always got that nostalgic look back to the players that played with Celtic when I was a kid, like your Roy Aitkins, Murdo McLeods, like Tommy Burns. Obviously, you know they're kind of my heroes, but it's only because when I was a kid, you were impressionable and you had fucking heroes. And I get the kids nowadays, they've all got heroes, but you become very cynical when you're older. Because when you look at it back then, the guys were only earning a bit more than the normal working man. You know, none of them retired for football as rich human beings. You know, they just had made a normal, maybe 2-3 times more than the normal working guy was earning at a time. So, you know, proper heroes, to be honest with you, just because they gave everything for the shirt. And obviously they were playing for a wage as well. Let's not get by the fact that they were getting paid. But they genuinely did have a love for Celtic, and the certain guys like Johnny Doyle's and all that. They just love playing for the football club. And you don't get that nowadays. Very, very rarely. Kieran Tierney. But obviously he gets well compensated as well, just because of the situation he's in. But you look Callum McGregor, Kieran Tierney, Tony Ralston, you know, you think to yourself, you get through the team and you can't really pick many of them. You know, all that left a mark, and the club got under his soul, sort of thing. But I'm pretty sure 5 years down the line, Joe Hart will be charging $5,000.
I know, but just like, I mean, you're kind of making a comparison between two things that are, I suppose, now, as we see it at the stage, very kind of invert. I mean, people like Tommy Gemmell and Johnny Doyle, they probably made just above the industrial wage at the time. right? So the motivation wasn't like money or fame. The motivation was Celtic, right? So, like, to compare that towards the motivation that players have today, and again, it's not a very long amount of time. It's literally how capitalism has fucking catapulted in terms of sports. It's two very different levels of work ethic, in my opinion. I mean, the two very different motivations for players that did what Tommy Gemmell did, like Johnny Doyle did, as opposed to what someone like Kieran Tierney does. And I'm not discounting one or the other. I'm just saying it's quite apparent that, you know, very different worlds as sportsmen to be involved in. Therefore, the motivations are very, very different.
But I agree with that. But if you catapulted George McCluskey, Danny McGrain, Tommy Gemmell into today's world, they would have the same motivations as the players today have. You know, it's an unfair comparison.
I know that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. It's going like, I mean, you're comparing two different worlds. It's comparing history with common reality, which never really weighs out.
I totally get that. I totally get that, and it's unfair because the players of today, if I was playing football in today's world, I'd have the same motivational factors as the players that are playing today. You know, there's no getting away from that. And all these Celtic fans that never played football and, you know, how dare he fucking leave us? How dare you? Fuck off, mate. You know, fucking hell, the guy's off. You know, he's fucking trebling his wages. He's giving his family a better life.
I always ask these people who get like that, going like, do you think you'll ever have to make that decision? And they go, well, no. I go like, well, then why the fuck are you even thinking about it then? Because it doesn't matter to you. You will never be in that situation. You will never have to make a decision. So why the fuck is it even crossing your mind? Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is distracting yourself from whatever the fuck you should be doing, thinking about what Kieran Tierney or somebody else should be doing. Fuck up.
Aye. And the thing when Ange left and all that, the cold light of day, when you analyse it, if you were in Ange's position, you'd probably done the same yourself. You're a fucking Australian. It's got no fucking link to Celtic whatsoever. You've came, embraced it, you've loved it, and then you've fucked off. So obviously we feel very bitter about it because it's personal to us, but to them, it's just a job. Yeah. And the vast majority that play for us are managers. I think Brendan Rodgers is slightly different. You know, he has got a Celtic connection, and I do hope that he will stay for that bit longer. But he came and said he would do the 3 years, and I've got no doubt he'll do the 3 years.
I get this sneaking suspicion, Jason, that he's just going to just see how it goes. I mean, and just like do his best, and then like roll with the punches. And if it gets too much, or if it gets too much, too little, too whatever, if it goes sideways, he can just sort of go, right, well, that's me done. Go off and fucking manage whoever he wants.
But see these things when people managers get to the end of their term and they know they're leaving, they very rarely end well.
Aye, it gets messy if people don't address it though.
Aye. But even if Rodgers turns around and says, right, I'm going to leave at the end of the season, then it's a big cloud over the club.
No, totally.
And if players are like, say players are off form and that, and you're saying to yourself, they fucking gave up because he's away anyway, they're not giving up. You know, if he says he's leaving and the players keep winning, then it's a non-issue. You know, if we have the best season in the world ever.
Well, let me paint the joyous picture, right? Here we go, right? So we get through the qualifiers of the Champions League, we're in a proper, and then they announce Brendan Rodgers signed for another year at least. Boom.
Joe,
season's off and running.
I was going to say, maybe he's just, you know, he's been once bitten, twice shy. Maybe he's just waiting until after the transfer window shuts before he's...
Well, that's kind of the point he's making earlier on.
Yeah, maybe he's
like,
back he's getting.
Let's just see how much fucking weight you're going to put into my... I mean, it's one of them balances. Like, I mean, are you going to put the value... Is your investment going to match the value that I think I deserve, and I think do you value me with the money you will spend on what I want to achieve? That's to me that's the balance where it comes.
So here's the question, right? Do we think that Brendan Rodgers is at the outside whereas the board's concerned, or do we reckon he's privy to their decisions? Well, when they're having conversations, do we think? Because the players are obviously, Greg Taylor obviously point in case, doesn't really know what's happening, doesn't get an offer, fucks off.
Do you sit there? Does your lawyer sit there? I don't really fucking know how those boardroom meetings kind of go at that level. The boardroom meetings I have are kind of fucking low level. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, do we think Brendan Rodgers is privy to the boardroom, how much leeway they're going to give him in the transfer market?
I'd be very fucking surprised if he's not. Frankly, I mean, he goes to board meetings, so he hears what's going on.
He's no mug, like. I mean.
So we think he's totally in the know, and he's part of
it. He knows the strategy. Whether or not he's happy with it's totally different. I mean, in fairness to him, he's never said that he isn't. Certainly this time around, he has never said he's unhappy with it. And
Jason,
he has come out and said that he's here for another year. So you'd imagine if he fucking wasn't happy with it, he'd be saying, I'm not staying.
Jason, I don't think they say to him, right, new season, you've got £20 million budget to spend plus half of what you bring in on trial. I don't think they work in numbers like that with him. I think he gives his aspirations, his views, what he's looking to do, and they then try and work within rough boundaries of what they see the club operating in. That's just complete guesswork on my part, but that's how I see it working.
Aye, but I kind of wouldn't disagree with that. You would think that if he had, say, say he's got 3 targets in mind, or 3 positions, with
it's gonna go
maybe 2-3 players in each position that he's got potential targets for, he would go to the board and say, look, I would like these 3 positions strengthened. Here's 3 targets for each of them. What's the chances? And they would come back. I don't know how it works, but you would maybe think that would be. You would think our scouting department, if he identifies that we need a centre forward, they would come to him with 4 centre forwards that's within our kind of budget and aspirations.
I think that scouting's happening all the time. We'd be scouting every position all the time. We'd have a short list of players all the time, I imagine, for every position. It's just how serious we move on those sort of. That would be dictated to, I guess, by who leaves, who we sell, injuries, I guess whatever else that's going on in there.
And qualification at Champions League. So here's the thing, when do we find out? Right, obviously you've got all the Champions League qualifiers going on. Does that affect us, or is our 5 teams set in stone now? Or are we waiting?
I thought our 5 were set in stone, but I think 2 of them or 3 of them playing the round before us, so could be replaced by somebody else. I think we know. So there's 10 teams in our cohort of whatever our group. We're in the top 5 seeds now. There's 5 seeds below us, but some teams out of that 10, it's at least 2, maybe more, could be replaced because they're playing earlier rounds than us.
Right. Okay.
You'd be with me. So, but we're definitely in the top 5. We're definitely seeded for that playoff round.
Right. Okay.
We can't come out of that. No one can come in and overtake us from that.
Aye. So we were talking about this during the week, right? See, if you're a fan point of view, you want to actually lose the Champions League qualifier.
Why?
You want it in the Europa League. Because you got a chance of winning it.
I wasn't thinking about that, but you put that in my head.
But see from a total fan point of view, better away trips, chance of winning it.
Why?
And a proper chance of winning it, because there's no drop down for the Champions League. But for a club and business point of view,
if Spurs could win it, having just avoided relegation,
you totally want to get through for a club point of view and a cash flow point of view. But see, for a daft fan like us, cheaper tickets, better away trips.
You want a cup final. You want a cup final. You want a semi-final. You want a quarter-final. You want deep into the contest.
Getting into the Champions League, it's all the riches, but you're fucking bombed.
You know what, J-Bo? You're talking my language now, right? Because I'm thinking like you're making memories in the fucking Europa League. I mean,
well, you think back to Chris Sutton hitting it by the post in the 2003 season for the Champions League qualifier in the last minute, would have put us through, and then we end up getting to Seville. So, it's because of this new format. It's
Where's
totally
the final
changed.
next year? Where's the final next year? Let me just check it
I don't know. But see, because of this new format has, like, if you get into the Europa League and you've got a good side, you've got a proper chance of winning it. The money's shite compared to the Champions League. But see, at the end of the day, we've made maximum profits now. Fucking season tickets are still going through the roof.
Istanbul, Jabo, was the final for the Europa League. That'll be fantastic.
We're the Champions League final. No, we'll need to worry about that.
Let's figure that one out. Hold on. Champions League final.
But are you with me in that, Liam, or are you totally against it?
Liam's gone off, is he? Dropped off of it? Fuck's sake.
No, I'm here. All I can hear is you fucking typing.
No, what I'm saying, Marty, do you get my thought process there about losing the Champions League qualifier from a fan point of view?
Yeah.
Budapest,
Nope,
Jabo.
100%.
Budapest is the Champions League final next year.
I'll go to Istanbul.
Yes, me and you had the fucking same argument a couple of years ago about the Conference League. Do you not remember? I wanted us out and you wanted us to win it. I was like, get us out of it, the fuck.
Aye, because you just don't care about Europe. I think you've maybe changed it a wee bit now.
Well, it's not that I don't care about Europe. At that time, we were in a real battle for the league, if you remember, with Postecoglou. And I was like, we need to do this because we don't want any distractions. And if the Huns stay in Europe, it's a good distraction for us to have for them. So, and thankfully, fucking Postecoglou did the same. He threw out a fucking shit team. God bless him.
Do you want to know what the Conference League final is in 2026?
Bilbao.
Leipzig. Let's go back to the reggae then.
But we can't get in the Conference League.
Bollocks. Well, whoever's in the final, and we just follow them anyway.
Aye, we should have fucked up the league and go second and then get fucked out the qualifier.
Fuck me. Holy fuck.
But it's just the way European football is structured now. It's just a bit of a disaster for us with the champion. Well, from a fan point of view, for the Champions League, that don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it, and with amazing times, and that's where you want to be, and that's the showcase, and that's how you attract the best players, and But in reality, we're never going to win it. And you look at that PSG team.
Even the PSG team. See if you get them, you're fucked.
Aye, you're out.
You're absolutely fucked.
It's impossible to beat them.
They lost to Mbappe and they got better.
Aye. Totally. But they don't even play the same sport as us.
No. I watched them last night. It's the first game I've watched in that whatever it's called World Club thing. Fucking hell, they were unreal, man. It's like the highlight photos.
It's amazing how football goes in with stages. Barcelona took it. They play in like a similar type way to that Barcelona team, but better. In my mind. I find it different. It's different, but I find it incredible, Liam, that they don't play in like a strong league. They're not getting tested week in, week out.
Yep.
But Barcelona did, and you could understand that the way they play, you are getting tested week in, week out. But in France, it's a shit league, really.
Yeah. Were Barcelona in that fucking cup?
No.
What the fuck?
No. Was it Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid? Or was it not just... Aye.
Fucking load of balls. Fucking hell. I can't fathom it. I was saying to Liam last night, what's the point of it? Like, it's just going to end up like an extended Champions League. Fucking stupid.
But do you know what? This is worth a wee conversation. Because I was listening to that World Football phone-in, right? And I made the point about the Brazilian teams were doing really well. They take it mega serious, the South Americans. Because that's
in South America.
Well, I think this is the first. Well,
Sure, we had to
It's-
go to fucking
It's
thing.
there. They played it in Asia a few times and that as well. But it's like, see, the thing is, the golden nugget is the Champions League. It's the biggest competition in the world. But FIFA are trying to overtake it.
Yeah.
And what will actually happen is FIFA will pump more money into this and more money into this, that it might overtake it. Because at the end of the day, all these clubs care about is money.
I know, but you
So-
can't overtake it if you're playing like fucking amateur teams from Australia or somewhere. It's just fucking daft.
you know, they'll end up making them play qualifiers to get
Yeah,
into it
exactly.
against a
Exactly,
European
we'll
team.
bump it out.
So,
It's a fucking, it's a farce.
but it'll not go away. But the thing is, it's took mega seriously by those in South America because it's their gateway in to play in the European clubs because they know the Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamerica is no as good as your Champions League, although they love it. But they watch the Champions League and they want into that. So, and that's why the Brazilian teams take it mega seriously. But they've just no got the budget and no got the players. But Fluminense done brilliant, you know. And so I don't think it's going to go away. But they'll just need to work out
It's just the Brazilian teams now are fucked. So is everybody else. It's going to end up being dominated by the same teams. That's simple as that. Like what? And if that's the case, what's the fucking point? You just give to the Champions League. We'll just say, well, we'll give you an extra 100 million to play it.
Well, a Brazilian team got to the semis.
I know, but they can't cope if it's like, 'cause as you say, they're all going to end up being fucking qualified out of it.
No Brazilian teams. They won't. I'm talking about your teams.
Brazilian teams are listen. Brazilian teams aren't bringing any money to that fucking table. There's no money in Brazilian football. Oh, here, by the way, if we're talking about
Brazilian football has got money in it.
No, but not to the same riches with Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, fucking.
No, but it's got big money. It's got far more money than Argentina. See, like Argentina's the epitome for football fans to go and watch. They like Fluminense and that are paying fucking 5 times the wages of what River Plate and
I could see it.
players.
It's just to me, it's the same teams are going to end up in the fucking final as they ended up in the final of the Champions League. That's how I see it. Anyway, but it's not aimed at me. But what I was going to ask about, what about poor Mickey Johnson?
Well, he the deal to go to Flamengo. What's happened there?
Did you not hear? The fucking fans found out about it and went mental.
Oh, aye, they cracked up, didn't they?
And the fucking thing's been cancelled. What a fucking unlucky cunt.
Aye, bloody hell.
Fuck shit. God help him. Fuck, I felt my heart broke from him.
Aye.
Biggest movie of your life and fucking concert going, who's this fucking dick? Not a chance.
No, but see, Marty, like the Brazilian economy is coming up, you know, and like see, things go in cycles, and European football is massive, but think of the population of Brazil and how mad in football they are, and you know the type with this FIFA World Club Championship, if they get it off the ground, and the thing is these teams are taking it serious. You know, they went there and they all tried to win it. You know, and so PSG, in all likelihood, will be the Champions League and the FIFA World Club champions. I don't know, I've not looked at the figures, but I think they're going to get as much money for winning that as they go for winning the Champions League.
It's 100 million or something. 100%. But that's going to be the way of it. You know what I mean? It'll be whatever team wins the Champions League, or the top 4 teams in the Champions League will always be the winners of that thing too. It's the way it's going to be. It's just giving more money to the rich teams to fucking buy better players.
But I think in the short term, but I think in the long term, like South American football could maybe come up, you know, because we're all like kind of insular here. But if their economies are up and blah blah, I kind of agree with you, to be honest with you, because
I can't fucking see it. Like the Champions League, because their leagues play, the English league play as well. Anyway, They don't need the Champions League. So the Champions League is like a cherry on top. If you win that, amazing. Then you fuck off and win the fucking thing and you get another 100 million. It's like,
But
you
you
can
look
see
at
what's happening.
you're saying the English League pays well, which it does. But they teams are fucking celebrating getting into the Champions League, getting fourth place.
Oh no, here, 100%. So we be. Well, it was fucking, if it was us two, we were getting in fucking fourth place, we'd be delighted too. Do you know what I mean? But the fourth place teams in any year is only going to be, you can predict, that's what fucks me off with the Champions League. You can predict who's going to be in the final four every year. Thereabouts. You know what I mean? You'll not be
Aye.
fucking far wrong. If I guess today, you wouldn't be far wrong next year. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Aye,
a bit mad,
yeah.
but
Right, let's have a stab in the dark. I'll say fucking Real Madrid, Inter Milan, PSG, and fucking we'll put a wild card in there and chuck Bayern Munich in there. There's every fucking chance that'll be it. They'll get an English team maybe. Fucking
aye, and Barcelona,
aye,
Real Madrid.
Barcelona.
I mean, you know, really, they're going to be the ones when the crunch comes.
Oh, Barcelona, but couldn't they sign fucking Nico Williams, could they?
10-year contract? That's a wild one, isn't it?
10 years. 100 million buyout clause. See, seemingly, the cynic in me tells me Barcelona couldn't get rid of them. They couldn't afford them. Because they've been trying to do deals with the Athletic Club. We'll pay you up in installments, we'll do this. Obviously, with the money embargo thing they've got in a minute.
That's a bit like your mate going like, here, I'll take that sofa off you, but I'll give you a tenner now, and I'll give you 20 quid in the next 17 weeks.
Aye, but the difference is his fucking sofa wasn't challenging your sofa every week.
Exactly. I mean,
but here's the thing, right? Where I love the Basque country, the best people in the world, right? See if you turn against them, they can be fucking bastards, right? See him being born and bred in Bilbao. His brother plays with Athletic Club. See if he signed to Barcelona, he couldn't have been back there.
That's mad, isn't it?
He'd have been ostracised. And how would his brother have dealt in that? Do you know what I mean? See if he'd been back. Because see when you're in Bilbao, you're walking about and athletic players are walking by you, sitting in cafes and stuff like that, and nobody's bothering them. Because they all live in the city. They all stoat about. It's no uncommon to see them stoating about. It's no like they'll be in a cafe and people are mobbing them and stuff like that because they just live there. And that's just life. And he would, everything he's known in his life would be fucking gone. And he's probably thought long and hard about it and read like, I can't fucking do this. Which I think loads of them have done that. Because I think I counted out only 5 or 6 players in the last 25 years have left Athletic Club to try and further their career.
I remember Lizarazu getting fucking grief. Remember he
fucking
played for France.
Austin says his thing.
Aye. But
he got dog abuse for playing for France.
But see, like, it's just they don't take kindly to fucking getting. See the thing is, see if he came for Gazpucho or if he came for Navarra, do you know what I mean? He could have left no bother because he'd go back there and they wouldn't bother their ass because they don't support.
What about that fucking Lego headed cunt fucking Arteta staying for the Huns? He's from Donostia.
Aye.
But I'd say Athletic Club, I'd say that if you desire to leave, the energy is we fucking made you. Quite literally, we.
But I could work against you because you could end up just down in tools and going, I'm still here, but not actually fucking.
Oh, they wouldn't do that. It's no in their ethic, you know. It's like Athletic were built on fucking iron, steel, and.
But if he signed for Bayern Munich, or if he signed for Arsenal, would they be annoyed? And he brought in €100 million for the club.
Well, did Kepa not leave for Chelsea?
Kepa left for Chelsea. He's ostracised.
Wow.
Aye.
Well, you're not money to fucking deal, you know.
It's fucking Godfather 3. That's what it is.
Totally. It's like
just talk about Before I come on, did you talk about the Cork Super Cup?
Not
Oh.
really.
Can I just
Well,
say, 27, they said that the attendance was 27,000. It looked like much more than that to me, for my fucking untrained eye. That was a fucking unbelievable crowd to draw on a Tuesday night in July in Cork. It really was, like, fucking fair play to the Celtic fans who went in, like, I didn't go myself, but at no time did I think it would be that size of a crowd on a Tuesday in fucking Cork.
there was loads of it
Fucking,
there for it.
oh,
I
fucking
know
fair fucks.
loads of it there for it.
Cork is an outstanding town to get drunk in,
It's
I
good
have to
time.
say.
It's good
Oh,
time.
fuck me, it's a smashing town to get pissed in. But even so, it's a Tuesday in the middle of school holidays and whatever else. That was a fucking outstanding effort by the Celtic support, like, to pack that ground out. And it looked to me as if it was full. Didn't, you know, mates of mine were saying,
I,
right, but our
I,
stand's full, our
I
stand's
was
full.
I was kind of bummed out for Arameda. The homecoming didn't really kick off.
I know. Well, he was at the fucking mayoral reception. He met the mayor. But it was a bit, you'd have given fucking 5 minutes at the end. Surely the fuck I wouldn't have killed any cunt.
Who knows?
Bit mental, because Harper was saying they were still sending out fucking emails the day before saying come and join the Alameda homecoming. What the fuck?
No.
But I just thought it was a tremendous effort from everybody, because like we were down, was it Wolves? Was it 2 years ago we went to the Wolves match in Dublin?
Aye.
And
I
there
met
was a
you there.
similar, there was a similar crowd. Like the crowd was fucking 25, 30,000. There was but the Aviva looked half empty. The Celtic fans are spread all over the Viva, so you couldn't really tell. But it was like 30,000, and it was a lot. Were we not meant to go down on a tour or something? It was cancelled, so it was kind of last minute, if I remember correctly, that much. But
Oh.
there was thousands there, and it seems to me they've replicated the same crowd again. Very, very healthy fucking numbers, like.
Yeah.
And I
Good.
didn't go, so I'm not. I wasn't even one of them. I can't
Good
even
for,
fucking
good
pat
for
myself on
Cork
the fucking
City as
back.
well, like, to get a good crowd in. You know what I mean?
What would your drive be there, Matt? 6 hours or something?
But well, depends on the traffic. So 2 hours to Dublin, then you're talking 3 to 4 hours. Cork City's not too bad. When you go to West Cork, it's a disaster. But you're talking probably a good 6 hours. Depending on the traffic. But here, you would do it. No, I mean, if it's worth doing, you would do it. I don't really do
Amazing.
friendlies, but
See for me,
as I say,
see if I turn off the M50 to my right, everything's west.
I don't know. That's it. But it's a fucking laugh too, Joe.
No
We were
fucking
talking about,
road. Cork to me, that's west.
we were
That's west,
talking
that'll do.
the other day. I was talking to somebody else and was saying that you can drive from Derry to Cork, right, without encountering a traffic light, except for the bottom of New Lodge. See, in traffic lights, that's the only fucking traffic light between Derry and Cork.
The M2 traffic lights.
Yep, we're at Nelson Street. It's a fucking only traffic light between
and
Derry
they're
and Cork.
a fucking pain in the hole. See if they don't catch that red,
I
you're
know,
fucking the pain of
it's a
Alex.
fucking joke of a fucking place, but that's you can do the whole island and not have a fucking traffic light except for her.
Except for there,
Mental.
Westlake. Oh, fuck me.
Fucking mental, little fucking
Brilliant.
crazy link. So well done, everybody who had it down. My mate Barry was down, the town man, Barry Powney was there, and Barry was sending us all the photographs saying he took his wee lad down. So it's great too for a different part of Ireland to get a Celtic game. Do you know what I mean? We've been to Cork before. There's Cork connections with Celtic, obviously Charlie Tully. Charlie Tully managed Cork Hibernians stuff back in the 1960s and whatever else. So and all the decent people of Friars Walk, if anybody's ever been to Friars Walk, smashing fucking place to watch a Celtic match. You know, so it's great to see that you're actually making the effort to go down to those places and you're not just going to the Viva all the time, you know. So fair play.
That's a lad. Jerry owns that comes out of the tavern. Was a big
They're
part of Ross's
fucking
funeral.
mad.
He's a
Fucking Celtic
gentleman.
man. Yeah, so it's great for to be in their backyard, Jason. Do you know what I mean? Because think of the fucking you're asking me how long it takes me to get the fucking Cork.
Oh,
A hard
Imagine how long
yards.
imagine how long it takes them to get the fucking Glasgow.
Hello?
But that's what I'm
Aye, they
saying.
come
Like,
out all
imagine
the
how long
time.
it takes them to come from Cork to Glasgow.
Aye.
And I always say this. My first game was in September 1982. I travelled on the St Peter's bus in Belfast, and when we got on the bus at 6 in the morning, the back of the bus was already full, and it was full of Celtic fans from Waterford. Like, the next stop's France. You can't go any further fucking
Yeah,
south.
yeah.
You know what I mean? In Ireland and France, and that's a commitment to the Irish fans. And in those days, Celtic Park was empty. Like, we all remember the 20,000 fucking attendances in Celtic Park. This was in 1982 when we were fucking terrible, and Irish fans were still travelling, filling buses, filling boats. You know, so it's nice for Celtic to repay the favour and say, no, we'll come to you, we'll come to your backyard. So well done, everybody involved. It was like a warm bath day, and then we had the pitch invasion at the end. So for people who don't know, like, some of our fans probably wanted to see us receive the fucking Cork Super Cup, which is fucking fair enough. But in GA games at the end of the match, all the children come onto the pitch. That's what happens, you know. So it's very much on vogue with the traditions there. So tough shit.
You're saying shit and fuck up. See if you're Nicholas Kuhn, fuck up too. Right?
And I'm sure the fucking people I'm sure that whoever fucking organised it are delighted with themselves, because I mean, it could have been a flop. Do you know what I mean? There could have been 4,000 or 5,000 fucking people there for nearly 30,000 people that turned out on a Tuesday. See if it had been next
The
Tuesday
weather.
or Monday. Yeah, but somebody says to me, Cork were playing. Was it Harper was saying Cork had a match? That's why it had to be midweek, because obviously
Alright.
the League of Ireland
Match of tomorrow.
is in full swing. So, but see if it had been Monday night here, like on the 12 holidays, you'd have had thousands more down from the north.
Yeah.
Like, without a fuck, Adam went down, without a
Try-
fucking shadow of a
Trying,
doubt.
trying to escape.
Yep,
Hey,
But
$1,000,000.
we are.
it didn't matter with Cork anyway, did it? Because it wasn't in their stadium, it was in the Gaelic Stadium, wasn't it?
It was Parky Queeve, yeah. So, which is, it's nice too that, you know, because there would obviously always been the sort of fucking tension between the GA and the soccer, but the Parky Queeve, they need to pay for it, so they have to have these additional events happening in Parky Queeve, like concerts and things like that too. So it's another way of uh, generating revenue for it as well. But it's a marker as to what Casement would be in Belfast. You could definitely see Celtic bringing, you know, once a year, come and playing in Casement when it's built, without a doubt.
Well, that'd be amazing.
Oh,
Hey,
here, that'll happen. That will happen.
we are 2 hours and 20 minutes in almost, right? And we have not. I think the best thing we should do to finish this off is to cover the thing I want to talk about all night, which is that two of our people tonight spent Tuesday evening at a gig in Glasgow, and somehow may have overreached, but had a good time. How was Kneecap? How was Kneecap, Jason and Liam?
Go for the skip.
Well, Liam says he was struggling because he spent the night with the Guinness twins.
Ew.
That's a
Pre-season
good description.
My pre-season hasn't involved much drinking, so yeah, I was struggling.
All right, it was well, I tell you one thing, Skip, you still done there than me. You made it down to the mosh pit.
Oh yeah, always, man, always.
So
Last few songs.
it was absolutely outstanding. It was amazing. Aye, so knocked off work early, met Skip and the Brazen, and Brazen was absolutely jumping. And a few pints in there, watched the first half and then about the second half of the Celtic game, then they head along to go to Academy. And then it was, you got met with security checks that I've never come across before at a gig ever. They checked our tickets when we were in the queue, then they scanned our tickets when we were at the door, then they scanned our tickets at the top of the 3 stairs, and then they scanned our tickets again walking through the door into the arena. And it just seemed like they were hell bent and no letting you in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but all the tickets scanned and whatever. Aye, it was absolutely, it was magic. We gets in and Mr. Support Act, they were seemingly very good as well. And then Kneecap come on and aye, they just blew the roof off the house. Some of the bits were absolutely amazing. They said we get more in common with poor Rangers fans than we have with rich Celtic fans. And that was a fair point. I've said stuff like that on this before.
Yep, 100%.
It's true.
Yeah. You know, and
You saw that video I sent you earlier on of the tattoo guy from Glasgow.
Uh-huh.
I think he's a Rangers man. So
And there was a big Palestinian solidarity campaign across it as well. They were handing out leaflets, etc. But
like I said, it's actually a brain fuck for me, right? Genuinely, these are just kids from where I come from, right? They're just wee lads.
From the
They're
lower whack, Marty. It's kids with the
They're
lower
just
whack.
they're just fucking kids. They went to Glonamona, the same wee youth club my daughter went to. They're just kids, right? Now JJ Doherty's obviously a teacher. He's a wee bit older than them, the other two. But I was in Mexico last week, and we went on a tour that's called Isla Mujeres. It's like an island off Cancun, and we booked a tour on a catamaran to take us out there. And I'm sitting with this family, about 10 of them, a whole big family from California. One of the fella's son actually lives in Compton because he was telling me where he lived, and I was like, what the fuck? And the bar, I think,
that's yuppie area now.
Well, I asked him, I says, what's it like now? He says, well, we're still fucked. He says, anywhere you see a hay raise, we're fucked. So we were chatting away, and they were asking us about the man of the family was called Ramses, and he was just cool as fuck. So big long beard. Me and him
cool.
Me and him talking away, chatting away, and the mother of the family, T, heard my accent, and she went, "Are you from Ireland?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "Oh my God, I love Kneecap." And I was literally fucking speechless. I looked at her going, "What?" And she went, "They're amazing. We streamed the Coachella gig into our house. Oh my God, they're amazing." And I was fucking totally blown away. I was like, how the fuck do you even know who they are? These are just a couple of kids on the road. Do you know what I mean? The impact that they've made is remarkable. Like, I find it fucking stunning. I really find it.
Blows my mind. Because I've
Totally
listened to it for a long time. Like, I remember seeing one of their first videos going like, this is some fucking rude. Like, this is Joe McKenna, lyrical demon hip hop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I
I
mean?
remember.
And now it's
The first
become
video.
this.
The first video was on that. They filmed it on that fucking bridge at Davis Flats with the closed down bridge and on the tunnels and stuff down Belfast City Centre. Like, they're just kids. They're only wee kids, and they've done this thing that comes from California, from Long Beach and Compton, and are looking at us going, "Wow, holy fuck!" I'm like, it's mind blowing.
It doesn't make sense, Marty. It doesn't make sense.
Mind blowing.
See, the thing for me is, right, like I wouldn't say I'm big into that music, right? Not big into rap music. I like it. I can listen to it.
I'm not at all, Liam.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not at all.
Exactly.
It's my thing. I love it. Like.
Yeah, right. But so I'm not massive into it. But I've been to quite a few gigs in my life, right? Jason, I don't know what you felt, right? I've not seen any gigs with that amount of energy and power, and just like so many people who spoke about it afterwards said, and old people like our age have said it's the best gig they've ever been to. Now, I don't know whether it's quite that, but it's not. It's going to be in your top few because the place was just fucking electric, man. Right, from the first minute they started until they went off, the energy in there, the buzz in there. And I would say probably a lot of the guys of our age probably are not massively into the music, but what the guys now represent, what they've done, the influence that they've got, and just what they stand for. It's incredible. It's a really incredible experience to be there.
I went to the gig of the Barrowlands, and that was I knew exactly what it was going to be like, and it was that and more, because the Barrowlands was like that for me, and I went there. No, Marty. It's like totally age group between 17, 18 to about 80, and just people from all walks of life. Do you know the interesting thing? I walked up to Central and there's a train waiting. I get the train back and there was a wee guy sitting across from me and I was like, "Look, mate," I says, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Wisher." I says, see if I fall asleep, you wake me up at Wisher." He's like, "I ain't bother." I says, we at the gig? He says, aye, I was at the gig. I says, enjoy it, aye. What age are you? And I was like, he's like 23. I says, do you know my daughter? And he's like, oh no, I don't think so. I says, did you go to St Aidan's? He says, no, I went to Clyde Valley. I was like, fucking there you go, wee man. You know, fucking didn't they go to the aye? And I was like, fucking good on you. You know, and it's like
it fucks my mind, isn't it? I can't explain it. Like on a boat in Mexico, and a load of Californians going, these kids from the Falls Road are amazing. Like, it's fucking nuts. It's
but see
fucking
the thing is, Marty,
nuts.
everybody's
It's
watching.
But also, Marty, I mean, like add on top of that they're rapping in a language
and
predominantly people don't fucking really understand. Right?
they said it themselves in Glastonbury. They says, look, we speak in a language that most people in our own country don't even understand. Do you know what I mean? And they've elevated it so much. And I remember talking to, we have a mate, me and Scott, have a mutual friend in Dublin, who's from the north, and he's always struggled with Irish and whatever else, and his kids are just away. They're flying, and it's because of Kneecap. He says they've just, and the Irish education system is genuinely fucking appalling. And I heard a great line recently. It says, you're taught Irish, but you're not taught to cherish Irish. And that's the fucking difference. We should be cherishing it, and that's what Kneecap are doing. They're making it their own, their own slanguage and all
see
that.
what you said there, Marty. That's what I've learned from my eldest daughter, Lucia, like being completely immersed in Irish since like Nina all the way through. Like, see when she goes like the West, like goes up Donegal and like works as a kinner in the Gaeltacht, she was back and all just speaks about is like, oh, how nice this Irish was, how lovely their Irish is, how the way they speak it is, and she because she can understand like the nuance, the cultural nuance of the language, 100%. Right? And that makes me realize like exposing her to that for that little bit of time has given her something as an Irish woman that only the language could have given her.
Oh, listen, totally. I'm exactly the same with my children. Now, and it's funny, like there's no Irish word for yes, there's no Irish word for no. Right? So people go, how the fuck do you function? And you go, because the whole structure of the language is completely fucking different. It's older than English. So English is a hybrid language of German, French, Roman, Latin, all that. It's all a mixture, and Celtic. But Irish, Gaelic languages, and the fucking Scots Gaelic's the same. And I always say for years, I used to argue this in bars in Glasgow, like Celtic Park should be a beacon of Celticism. All the language should be bilingual at Celtic Park. It's not hard to do. You just pick a different fucking place every year in the park and change the fucking signs in the two languages. It's easy. It's really, really easy to do. And it costs you fuck all because you're going to be updating your signs anyway every year.
It's
so
funny,
it's like,
funny. I was talking to Lucia. She's off. She's been in travel backpacking in Asia since fucking May 13th. She's back on August 4th, right? They're in Thailand. They've been around Vietnam, fucking Bali, Indonesia, and all places like that, right? And they started off with 7 of them, right? And now there's 17 of them. But all of them, they all have this Gaeilgeoir trade, right? And the reason they do it, Marty, is because they realize that when they're abroad and they're together, that the only way to keep each other safe is to communicate in Irish because nobody else is going to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm like, I never thought about that.
That's wonderful. Oh, it's wonderful. And the kids make it their own. That's my point about language. They make up their own words.
Yeah.
They change the language to suit them fucking selves, which is fabulous. You know what I mean? It's like great.
Yeah.
Do it.
Sorry, just to say, Joe, see, like musically, what I liked about it, right? I think Jason, you maybe made a joke saying, "Oh, they just put the Wolf Tones on for 20 minutes here, like during the break or whatever." But they didn't play to the crowd in that way. They stick religiously to what they're about. Do you know what I mean? The whole rap music stuff and what they're into and what they're good at. There was a bit of the black and tan stuff at the end and a bit of crack with that sort of stuff. But they're quite serious about what they do, as well as all the fun that they're having as well. But they've got such fucking energy about them. Honestly, really impressive.
Right. So here's a wee story, right? So I was at a techno night in Belfast a few weeks ago, right? The Friday night. And I wound up at a house party in the Show Road with 3 English lads, right? This is a true story, right? And I decided to commandeer the tunes, as I am known to do at house parties, right? And I stuck on some Kneecap, right? But like not the Kneecap that everybody's like, not Hood, not the. I stuck on the likes of Fine Art and
it's my favourite.
fucking one of the great tunes. And these boys were fucking vibing. These boys are in the like, you know, deep fucking Ladbroke Grove fucking kind of garage fucking vibes, you know what I mean? And they were getting into it, like, and I was like, that's the sign of good fucking music. They're enjoying this for the music. They're not enjoying they're enjoying the music.
Do you see when I saw that cunt Joe Rogan? Yes, who's back with the news? It's your favorite Republican news, and I was like, what the fuck,
Marty? Like I said a few months ago, right? See, when I see them on Be Real's, like again, explain this. Be Real is the lead rapper in Cypress Hill, Insane in the Membrane, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. He has his own like massive YouTube channel, Dr. Green Thumb, where he just sits around and he just gets stoned and starts talking. It was DJ Proby and Mowgli Bap because Bukhara couldn't make it. See, when I see them on that podcast, I was like, that might be the biggest fucking green flag from hip hop that any rap group from Ireland ever got. Because that guy is a 100%. Fucking bona fide hip hop legend. There's nobody could touch him, right?
Original gangster,
hip hop, right? And these cunts are sitting there hanging out, and he's asking like, "You're rapping Gaelic, tell me about your language and stuff." And I'm like, these cunts have made it. When it comes to hip hop, and I'm a fan of hip hop all my life, and I go, they made it.
It's incredible, and the message they're carrying about Palestine has broken through every filter, every fucking corporate media fucking sham, and got right to the people who matter. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
and do you know what, Matt? That's the thing of these Rangers fans that are coming to watch them now as well, because they're watching the news as well, and a lot of them are fucking the same as us, like young guys, working class communities. And they're looking at the TV and going, this is fucking wrong. This is fucking abhorrent what's happening here.
It's an awakening, Jason. It's within, but shadow of a doubt, like it's an awakening among people who need to be waked. It's a fucking bottom line.
And see, get back to something we spoke about in the podcast. Okay. I know it's my favourite subject, Athletic Club, right? But Kneecap, where are they playing tomorrow night? Bilbao. Aye, playing in Bilbao. Tony's gone, my mate Tony's gone, a few of the other boys, John and all that are all travelling down to it as well. So is it open air? No, it's in the BBK Centre. So so they're playing in Bilbao tomorrow night, their first concert ever in the Basque Country. So the videos of that will be fucking epic, right?
I mean, how many fucking acts, how many hip hop acts do you know that play the Basque Country? Name me one. I couldn't name one, and I follow hip hop.
I couldn't.
I know.
I don't follow.
But their whole ethos would be similar to the Basque, you know, protection of language, identification of culture, progressive causes,
and that's where the music transcends the message.
Totally suits them. You know what I mean?
And again, I said this like this before. Like I sat down with somebody from the arts office, like from the local arts office, county council, and these are like not highbrow artistic people, like, but they're people of a kind of arts sort of background, you know what I mean, in a certain way. And I explained to them. I said, "Do you remember NWA?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "What NWA did was they sent a social message by using the worst part of the communities that they lived in, right? And the reality is the reality." I said, Kneecap are doing the exact same thing, only they're using a different language, the way NWA use slang. I said, that's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
And see this fucking, see this whole court case against Liam Oog. Like, that's like fucking NWA when they were young and the cop, you know,
it's Tipper Gore. It's all that same shit.
Tipper Gore. 100%. Fuck me. It's like the cunts never learn. Like, they have elevated them way, way beyond any audience that would have ever heard about them, because cunts are naturally fucking nosy. And they're going, it's the same thing when Jerry Adams went to America. Nobody would have given a fiddler's fuck about Jerry Adams going to America, but Jerry Adams was going to America saying, you can hear my voice on your TV in America, but you cannot hear my voice in the hometown that I come from. I'm banned from the TV. So every cunt came out to fucking hear him. Do you know what I mean? And it's exactly the fucking same as having a Kneecap concert going, well, see, let's hear what he has to
Aye.
say.
They got banned
Like, it's
from tube stations today.
totally
See that
fucking
today?
counterproductive.
They
What's
got
that?
banned from advertising on tube stations today.
Kneecap does.
Yep, it was on their Twitter
Wow.
today.
Never heard that.
Mental.
Never
So
heard
see, slightly
But here,
off topic again.
the damage
Oh,
is
sorry.
done, sure.
Oh,
They
big
had
time.
those big, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs, no Cara fucking things all over fucking London. Do you know what I mean? That's the damage is done. They don't need to
It's
do that.
Finsbury
No,
Park sell out crowd.
Here, by the way,
45,000.
Fontaine's DC may be the biggest band in the world right now. Fuck Coldplay, fuck U2. Fontaine's DC are about the biggest band in the fucking world. Finsbury Park's no joke, right? That holds
Oh
between
no,
50
madness
to
that Finsbury
80,000
Park,
people.
sure. Mad stack was
I mean, so
Fontaine's are in Glasgow Saturday, Joe. The Transmit.
Yeah, but I hear
I want, I want,
done.
it would be class if they played fucking Better Way to Live and they brought Kneecap out. That'd be class.
They're playing Transmit and then Underworld.
Kneecap and Bilbao.
That'd be difficult,
So
man.
by the way, we were talking earlier on. I've just done a quick thing there about Athletic Club, about players that's left them, right? So quickly run through this, right? I found it quite interesting. So 2025, nobody loan transfers. 2024, Unai Nunes went to Celta Vigo, 7 million, but he wasn't getting a game. And Villaribre, the guy that played the trumpet, went for €1 million to Alaves, so he wasn't getting a game, right? So you go back down, 23, all free transfers, nobody left them. 22, all free transfers, nobody left them that didn't want to leave. 21, free transfers. 20, free transfers and loans. 19-20, all free transfers. So since 2019, nobody has left them that was
For a
part
fee?
of their team for a fee.
Wow.
18-19, that was when Kepa went to Chelsea.
What's that?
€80 million.
Fucking Christ on a
Right.
bike.
Then 17-18, Americ Laporte went to Man City, 65 million. But he didn't nick the Bilbao. So I don't think Kepa, I'm not sure where Kepa came from. So it wasn't really an issue. Then 16-17, all free transfers. 15-16, all free transfers. You obviously had Munayin went to Boca Juniors at the end of his contract, etc. So it didn't really matter.
Is that
The
where
big
he went?
one there-
I wondered where he went, Jason.
No, sorry, he didn't. He didn't go to Boca. He went to bloody the Pope's team. Bloody, what was the Pope's team in Argentina? The old Pope, San Lorenzo. He went to them in a free transfer. Aye. It was Ander Herrera went to Boca Juniors. So Ander Herrera left them in 14-15, and this was the dodgy one, right? He came for Bilbao, right? He left for €36 million in 14-15, and they hated him, but he came back and played with them. So he kind of made a bit of an amends. Then he went to Boca for 400 grand last year.
Some balls though to come back though.
Aye.
I'd be shoulder dipping.
13-14, free transfers, nothing. Then 12-13, that was a big one. Javi Martinez went to Bayern Munich. So, but he came from Navarra, so it wouldn't have been a massive issue because everybody where he stayed with the Sport at Osasuna. 11-12, all free transfers. 10-11, all free transfers. 9-10, free transfers. Aduriz went to Mallorca in 8-9, but then he come back, but he wasn't getting a game with them. But he come back and he was an ultimate hero. Obviously, Aduriz finished his career with Athletic Club, but when he went to Mallorca, he wasn't getting a game with them, so that was €6 million. 7-8, nobody. 6-7, nobody. So when you look back, then it's Asier del Horno, 2005-06, went to Chelsea for 12 million. And you go back now and that's basically it. So if you look back, there's like 4 players have left him over the last 20 years.
It's amazing.
So that's mental, isn't it? When you think about it.
So
You know,
what did Lizarazu do then to become such a...
Okay, that's miles back.
That's back in the 90s, is it?
He came for the French Basque Country. So did Laporte, to be fair. Laporte, they went to Man City. He was for the French Basque Country, so it wouldn't have been as much an issue for them because they're no living round about athletic supporters, so they can come and go. But if you live in Bilbao, Ander Herrera would have been the one that, and obviously he come back, but they would fucking hate you when you leave. So do you know what I mean? For Nico Williams to leave all he's ever known, and plus the fact his family were immigrants, came to Africa, everyone knows their story, and how the Basque people have embraced them and all that, he probably just couldn't go. He probably just says, I can't fucking do this. And it's, you know what?
It makes total sense, though. It makes total sense.
Aye, and it's those everybody.
I mean, if you're not thinking like a football player, if you're thinking like a person who's thinking like, you know what, this is who I am.
And do you know what? I'm going a bit. My mate Paul, I was in Mobile a couple of weekends ago, and my mate Paul Walton and his wife Kathy from Liverpool came. And they stayed in the corner for us, so we took them out. Joseba and that took us about and whatever. And so we went a walk one day down to the Old Town, and we walked through San Francisco, which is a big area where all mostly African immigrants and all that have all sort of made their home. And it used to be a bit of a sketchy area, but now it's became kind of hipsterish. But what Euseba and all that said to me, which was amazing, and I was telling Paul and Kathy, they've actually went to the local government and said, see when like refugees or immigrants or whatever from Africa come to Bilbao, he says, don't house them in San Francisco, house them next to us, because spread them about. He says, we don't want to create ghettos in Bilbao. We want everybody to be spread about the community because we want their kids to go to school with our kids, to learn Basque, to learn Euskara, to actually integrate into the community and become Basques. He says, we want to welcome them into our community. And it's a thing that started now, that now when you walk through this area, it's a hipsterish area. And previously, don't go there because it's dodgy. But now it's become more like multicultural, and all the Basques are going there because they're eating different food, etc. But now the immigrants, when they come to the Basque country, they're getting them spread about everywhere because they want them to live in their communities, in their sort of schemes within Bilbao, so that everybody's integrated and they welcome them. And you just say to yourself, see the Basques, they've fucking got it right. We've got it fucking far wrong.
They have an approach. They've got an idea, and they know what they're looking to do. And the problem we have in the society we live in, that there's no plan, there's no approach.
You know what annoys my balls? We won the fucking European Cup with 30 cunts of our own cunts. Sorry, 13 of our own cunts. I mean,
and that's how we're worshipped in Bilbao, because they want to do the same.
That's what fucks me off. I'd be like, how the fuck did we do this in the 60s with like nothing? Like all these players were just sort of fucking, you know, apart from who? Ronnie Simpson. Everybody else was brought through. Where did we go wrong? It's fucking magic.
But it's that's like the...
It's an interesting question, it is.
No, but that's what Jose Angel said.
It's like looking in it's like looking inward. It's the same argument that I'm making earlier on the night about our squad should be beefed up with our own kids. It shouldn't be beefed up with fucking soldiers from Korea.
But that's what Jose Angel said when he got interviewed, and he said, "Do you not think athletics signing policy is antiquated and you need to move with the times?" And he turned and said to the guy, he says, "No," he says, "we are correct and every other club in the football world is wrong." He says, "We're correct." He says, "Every other club is wrong." he says you should build your club for your cantera, which is the mine. And he says you bring them through and they become supporters. And he says every player that plays with Athletic Club is an Athletic Club supporter. And he says that gives you more of an advantage on the park than it would be if you're just signing players that are coming to play for money. And he says if every club adopted that model, world football would be a far better place and it'd be a fairer place. And so he says, Athletic Club has the model, every other club in the world is wrong. And the guy's like, he didn't have an answer for him. So at the end of the day, they qualified for the Champions League this year. It's maybe a bit of a hard push for them to win La Liga, but they weren't that far off it. You never know. You know, if they keep the...
Let's hope we draw them away in the Champions League.
By the way, see if I'm on holiday when we draw them. Fucking hell.
Just fucking fly over. It's got to be
A
done.
dagger at the heart. Jeez. Is there any games between the 30th of August to the 11th of September?
It's International Week, I think, mate.
I don't think there is. I think I'm all right.
Yeah, it is, because we've got a charity match on the 6th of September.
I missed the first Buns game, but I always missed that. I watched it in Italy 2 years ago, and then I watched it in Bilbao last year, and then I'll watch it in Italy this year. And I was just panicking it was going to be the Saturday morning, but it's the Sunday morning, so we fly in the Saturday. Perfect. So, perfect. I'll have Big Benji watching it with me.
Perfect. Right, need to wrap up. I'll be on the ground in Portugal on Wednesday for the Celtic game.
Time to hit the rocky road to Dublin. Here, has anybody seen that?
Yeah, but Liam going to the game against Sporting.
I'll be at the game next week on Wednesday, in the Algarve, Celtic Sporting.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy.
€25. No kids prices, which was a bit of a surprise. 8% booking fee, but yeah.
It's €100 for the foodies.
Yeah, 108.
All right. How far is it for where you're staying to get to the stadium?
It's not bad. So we're to the left of Albufeira, and then it's kind of across to the right of like Villamura. It's about 30 minutes, but there's buses going from Alvor and Albufeira and whatever, so we'll suss it out over the weekend. But I think
Ellie came home yesterday. She came home last night, and
you're saying she's yeah.
She was in Albufeira, and they went to Villamura, and she said it was 30 minutes to taxi, and it was €11.
Yeah. Bolts over there, like it's ridiculous, honestly.
Aye, she says it was wild how cheap it was.
Yeah, that's where mixed days. That's where the kind of the golfing bit, but so it's kind of just up above Villamura, so it's about half an hour away in a taxi if you want to do that. But I don't think there's anything by the stadium. I don't think there's not much bars and stuff. It's a bit like in an industrial place or something, but you can just go to Albufeira and get a taxi easily. It's easily done, or just get a bag of cans and you're fine in that weather.
I'll enjoy, Skip. I'm jealous.
Yeah. I'll keep you posted on Wednesday.
I will be off to Salou on Monday myself. Looking forward to it. If anybody's looking for me, I will be watching the friendlies in the Dubliner in Salou. Former orderly Q to buy me a pint.
Bring in your guitar, John.
There'll be a guitar on set. Don't worry. Anywhere I go, I can play anything. I'm like John Lennon. Give me a tuba. I'll play a song.
Right, we need to quit on that.
Hey, that's us done.
That's a perfect.
Folks, hail. We'll talk to you soon.
Hail.
Cheers, boys. Take it easy. Hail.